40 for the rapper, busy man, shit, nigga. They take their head off, nigga.
I read where Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like Samson, I can't let no hoe to lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, so they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Nigga think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Circle up and stay alert, another cop can stretch the nigga. He ain't thinking, this an exorcism, watch I bless the nigga. You took that oath in blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with you. Fuck the opposition, I see vision, let me paint the picture. Rappers can they spin, I ain't listening, is it factive? If revenge was a woman, now I scope that bitch like Jacob. So I walk, we gon' run the summer, it's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. As who run this shit, but their question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do that, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young pay. How you real triggering on them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? When he saying something, I ain't hear him. This shit light work. It's on who got the gun, it's on who gon' up that fight first. I turn a bad situation to a game changer. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain free. Shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand and feet, you will never get that hand back. He bitchin' about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody won't be Richard Porter, so I kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. A certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, out with that hollow son, yeah, this the rim accord. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still up on my brain, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get it, boy, lost, they gon' start to call it Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out over the demons like I'm Hellboy.
Hey, yo, MAHAYAMAN.
Yo, what's up, Papa?
Yo, you know we got to do it again.
Yeah, I'm right.
They're killing us in these streets, you know?
Yeah, man, this shit crazy.
Let's rise.
Let's do it.
My heart goes out to all of my brothers who shot by the cop, can't trust the undercover. Cold-blooded the way they did to Demetrius Stanley. Shot him in front of his own home with his family. Innocent black man killed once again to the hands of these crooked cops, they ain't your friend. Hunters down, they bloodthirsty men. Guns down, walk free and they win.
They killing us like George Floyd. Put a knee to your neck while they hold you down. You can't run, they'll gun you down if you drive away like Andrew Brown. Same way they did Matthew Williams. He had a knife, but they ain't have to kill him. Lied on him, say he runs down. He tried to flee, they shot their guns out.
It ain't gotta be nighttime, it can be broad daylight. Get out your car, try to get back in, they'll kill you like Dante Wright. If you think cops like us, they don't, they hit us with all they might. When they pull you over, guns drawn, finger on the trigger, they don't play fight.
Nah, they don't play right, they don't give a fuck about witnesses. Gotta really show them what the business is. Like out here killing kids, and we see what it really is. Got me losing my appetite, when the bitches harassing you at the light. When you feel you gon' die, then it's fight or flight. That's what happened to Rodney Applewhite.
Tired of these cops killing us, every day of the year they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us, when you turn on the news they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us, in broad daylight they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us,
they killing us, they killing us. Tired of these cops killing us, every day of the year they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us, when you turn on the news they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us, in broad daylight they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us,
they killing us, they killing us.
Never will understand. We living in fear, we kill every day because they got the upper hand. They murdered another man. Yeah, his name Joshua Peace. Kicking his body, he lay in the streets. It's the belly of the beast. That's why we say fuck the police. Fuck.
Crooked cops stay stalking. Kurt Reinhold murdered for jaywalking. Damn. Pull me over, I hand you my gun license. I ain't doing no talking. Just for Hal Rose, murdered by police at 19 years old. They said he had burglarized some place, but that was a lie. That's the story he told.
They live by it, they gon' die by it. Understand what I really mean. Shoot a nigga while he handcuffed in a seatbelt that was really green. Patiently waiting for the Lord's business. In the UPK, we got the killers team. All devils, they must die. Cut their heads off with a guillotine.
Right. AJ Crones and sensitive peers, y'all gon' learn who they are. That's right. The cops massacred these two young brothers and shot at their car. These devils can't help us, it's one solution, let's not pretend. We begin to police our own neighborhood, we must defend and bring these homicides to an end. Tired of these cops killing us, every day of the year they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us, when you turn on the news they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us, in broad daylight they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us,
they killing us, they killing us. Tired of these cops killing us, every day of the year they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us, when you turn on the news they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us, in broad daylight they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us,
they killing us, they killing us. Tired of these cops killing us, every day of the year they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us, when you turn on the news they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us, in broad daylight they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us,
they killing us, they killing us. Tired of these cops killing us, every day of the year they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us, when you turn on the news they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us, in broad daylight they killing us.
Tired of these cops killing us,
they killing us, they killing us.
Practice, not a game, not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We're talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that? And we're talking about practice.
Best believe that I'm top 3. The only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Put me anywhere other than one that is not me. It's beef, we strut a nigga block, that's chopped cheese. No piece, the butterfly sting him, that's Ali. You read, I teach you with the handle, that's Kyrie. Machines, you hook like a Roman, that's IV. You a sheep, I'm a go, it's a difference, so watch me. You weak, all hooks, no punches, so block these. They mock me, I just show them how it goes. Try to stomach this thug light. They bring out the nose, bandana on the grip. All heads coming out the foe. Connected from Cali to New York, nigga, so let it go. Pay for this. Nigga, I eat bars and drink flows, thinking you woke into your third eye peephole. Line for line, this shit too easy, it's like a free throw. Mastered the game too early, this bitch a cheat code. It ain't a game, these niggas lame, say bring a shame. If I'm with an officer, it's a number in his name. We ain't the same, you want the easy pass, tell him change his lane. Shit, I've been through the fire, you can't stand the rain, take an aim. Tell him running, he can try his best. Drive a car named after me, that's why I'm in the set. Laughing these niggas once again, and I ain't break a sweat. Number one at everything I do, that's why I'm one less. The Lord is not the God of the dead, so when I die, coming back for my spot, so forever I'm top 3. Just tell him to watch this, janitor with the mop stick. You gonna need a defensive lineman to block this. On point when I bomb shit, 10 for 10 I do not miss. I'm barking with a full bulldog, it is not mixed. They can see that my mind's sick, I don't bite, I find shit. I don't like it, then I switch. If I touch it, it's diamond. Tell a bitch that I'm God sent. It ain't because my kicks is built like 5'6", 5'7" is my bitch. Dangerous, high risk, I lose it, get another one. You think I'm talking about a girl, I'm talking about another gun. You hear now? Hey look, it is what it is now. We don't fuck with the house niggas, we burn the crib now. I'm ahead now, and I hope they get hit now. I don't care if you think it's hit, nigga, I don't fear clown. Colors just make it sound like raindrop, that's a fire storm. Get the job done in the view and get fired on. If you niggas standing for nothing, what you dying for? If you put real with real, that's how I was born. Walking this bitch ready for war, I'm in riot form. I want these niggas to see me flex, that's why I am armed. I shouldn't live in the crib, nigga. I should buy a farm to go through this shit so ever. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3.
Now I'm telling you, man, there really ain't
ain't gonna believe that I got a baby in my arms while I'm doing this. Little Zahar, man, won't be quiet. But check it out, yo. Playing spades, reminiscing on days before niggas started shooting, we would still catch fades. It's like the world's a lot scarier since crack grenades, and the only thing that we became is rats in the maze. Cause all my brother cares about is trapping in J's. Mine's fucked up from the pills and the haze. Pop said we hard-headed, stuck in our ways, so I've been praying to the Most High that it's just a phase, yup. Hardly surprised and always amazed, especially at what's been getting radio plays, yo. I wanna be the cataclysm of a cataclysm, bombatomically and taking back the lyricism. But you know nowadays, it seems like it's forbidden. Anybody in the industry knows they ain't fucking with them, and anyone on sign, they wanna be outshined. So I guess it's just me, myself, and all these empty lines. I never knew that being nice would get you penalized. Once you blowing up, they wanna know your penis size. Hoes all staring, saying you got dreamy eyes. And if you ain't fake, they wanna see you demonized. If they be dropping gems, then it's slow as El Dorado. A midnight marauder, young desperado with a bravado. That's a hard act to follow. Make your favorite rapper look like amateurs at the Apollo. Yo, and that's a hard pill to swallow. Me and my vato steady painting pictures like Picasso. Feds trying to clock us like Pablo and Gustavo. Cohen, straight to the Gestapo. Hola muchacho, yo hablo español. El hombre blanco es el diablo. Now I'm going over heads like a poncho. Trying to stack chips with more cheese than some nachos. Why you acting macho? Your whole clique is gato. They ain't want beef, but I'll feel it like a taco. Yo, don't get it twisted like a rasta. Don't be bringing none of that bullshit into mi casa. You ain't seen this much crack since the Contras. Belly of the beast, we all live inside a monster. That's why I be thanking God I'm alive, tapping into different vibes, penning more than a scribe. Every verse an open letter sent to all the tribes. Lost in the ghetto, steady struggling to survive. Yo, the things I seen with a pair of eyes got me out here living in this life desensitized. Part of the reason that I'm hardly if ever surprised. I've heard the screams of brothers and seen mothers that cried. Seen a soul leave a body right before he died. 23 years old, gunned down before his prime. While your favorite rapper only talking dollar signs. But when our people in trouble, they quiet as a mime. Every day is the struggle, I speak it through these lines. That's how I know they can't relate, I speak their daily lives. I'm representing for my nation or the lost tribes. All my people that been locked up ain't seen 25. Cause being born a minority was their first crime. They serve and protect, choking your neck, sever your spine. They murder one of us, no guilty verdict when they try. They wonder why they get no respect and we call them swine. Live in a time where you lose your life and become a vine. Friends turn to t-shirts, corners turn to shrines. And if our leader ain't a Pharisee, then he's a scribe. Cause he ain't coming out unless he thinks he can scrape a dime. Get his name in the paper, face in the lime. The world's black and white and you better pick a side. If I wasn't strong enough, then I would break inside. But I found the truth right before I lost my mind. Sorry, mama, I promised it wouldn't change me, but I would've went insane had I remained the same me. And I know you feel the same way if they slay me. So when I say the white man is the devil, don't blame me. I'm not here to make friends, kiss babies, shake hands for politics. Yo, what's affecting all the college kids? I mean, why did the students shoot up the colleges? Newborns found in shopping bags and garbages. All these problems that nobody acknowledges. Promise you one thing, you gonna acknowledge this. Like that.
I'ma show them it's a different. I'ma only say this once, you better listen. When West is where it started, so you know that's where it finished. We got one main objective, nigga, let's complete the mission. We explaining what the who, lead them bitches and they feelings. Snub on me, only time I put my nose inside your business. I don't want my gun to show, so I wear my shirt bigger. This is our world, cause if this was your world, I'd be the villain. Break his whole block down, all I gotta do is spin and stuff in Mac shell drums. Turn your crib to Sunday dinner. You don't live here, you visit, this my shit, it's a different. I don't do lean, Lobos in my cup is what I'm sipping. elephant, I don't do dreams. I just say a prayer, go and get it. And it all work out. You know this ain't for play, this ain't for fun. I've been destined for this shit. Niggas know that I'm the one. This shit can go 100 yards. You would think I kicked a punt. You would think I had a flare gun on go. You niggas run. They like he an Israelite. All he rap about is guns. Bitch, I'm an Israelite that own a lot of guns. What that nigga said, who? Tell him watch the grind. Yeah, you must be crazy if you ever think of stopping mine. Knock all of the chains out you niggas. Make them drop a dime. The Taurus hole 12. It is not a zodiac sign. Piss me off. Get me in my bag. Make me drop a bomb. Drop a nuke. Make the world freeze. I can stop in time. Watch what you do, cause once you do it, you can't press rewind. On purpose, I do the opposite, so nigga cross the line. This is different. I ain't looking for trouble, but on point, case you think I rap. Turn him to a vegetable. Lead this nigga cabbage patch. Know them niggas with me. If you see him, then they got my back. Got it out the mud, big stepping. You can see the tracks. Follow me. I can teach you something. Have her see relax. If you gonna speak on anything, just make sure it's fact. There's a difference. We are not the same. Help them notice that. Pay attention. Watch how we move. We can know we can't hang around all real niggas, and we move as one. This ain't Fortnite. Get into it, ain't no 1v1. The smoke I bring to you, you can't take it in with your lung. Life about warfare, we just make it look fun. She asked what kind of oil I got on, I told her give them some. That's the only real niggas left, you better get you one. Chicken shop, giving out wings if I pull a drum. Difference, you better watch your words before you eat your tongue. Scrape the whole plate, not a trace nor leave a crumb. Ice falling off the watching chain like it's freezer burn. Daring somebody to say my name, I will eat to him. Loyalty means everything, so I don't eat with them.
Hey, I'm just following orders. Let me get one of them slow motion pictures, bro. One of them slow motion pictures.
You got 60 frames per second.
Come on, man.
They say they wanna hit that raw shit. These niggas claiming that they bullshit. These niggas better move and coach shit. And if they make the wrong move, it cost. See me, they like, ooh, keep on stopping. I'm on my way up and they ain't gon' stop it. They say they wanna hit that raw shit. I'm on my way. Coming up on my device. They see me, they like, ooh, keep on stopping. I'm on my body, real niggas right beside me. Damn right, I brought my army, going up like a rocket. Can't nobody stop me. These niggas garbage, so watch your mouth, boy. Coming all black, slithering house, coming mouth, boy. I'm off the hip like a cowboy. I'm a king, you should bow, boy. Shorty like that, man, you cut up. Nothing I can handle. 144 with a boot for a Rambo. Niggas do you dirty like a stick in a bando. Slide in the corner like a bum with a banjo. I'ma leave by example. Keep on stopping at this bitch off the hand. Got this juice, got this drip. I can hit this bitch with the soap. It ain't rap, this is soap. Can't take a bitch, let me with the coke. They say they wanna hit that raw shit. These niggas claiming that they bullshit. These niggas better move and coach shit. And if they make the wrong move, it cost. Hey! One way! One way! One way! One way! One way!
I do it how a veteran be. You better than me. I'm ready at the edge of the key. It's all money, no honey. Think you selling tea. You locked up, fucked up, and it's back to the streets. It's one west. You can check the residency. I reside with soldiers die on the soles of their feet. Cause it's death before designer. Ain't no coward in me. Cause I'm cold as a bitch's shoulder. You ain't calling a week. Get the cooking on the beat. Hope you like it well done. Got them killers rolling with me and they all red rum, red rum, red rum. Got you fucking scared some. Hit the bang on his beat till my fucking head numb. Black lock, red drum, black and yellow air one. Homie, you ain't got a mess. I suggest you wear one.
Told you niggas going up. Doing a lot of talking, now these niggas ain't saying shit.
Feeling like a legend in this shit, little nigga, I'm past veteran. Never feeling third, little nigga, I'm past second. Guns, I gotta have them all like Ash Ketchum. Shotty break a nigga ribs up like his white blood. We all steppin', kill you with kindness cause I'm dead nice. That 5'7" put you 6 feet, not talking height. That judge giving out 5, what you doing like? These hands are rude GPS, a mean right. That's mean right, we build different, you know the vibes. And we stamped it authentic, we know the rise. I keep a 144 because I know a God. Know it's art, you know I'm with animals when we flowing by. We back again, no cap, when I'm with cap again. Yeah, they said they want smoking, so we matching them. Everything righteous, so
you know when we get back at them, you get hit up with a K, but no acronym.
They say they wanna hear that raw shit. These niggas claiming that they boss shit. These niggas better move it coach. They said they make the wrong move it coach. See me, they like, ooh, keep on stopping. I'm on my way up and they ain't gon' stop it. They say they wanna hear that raw shit. I'm on my way. Coming up on my divorce.
I just wanna see my enemies fall. Yeah.
Hey, look, I just wanna bow. Told my niggas stand tall, cause we about to go and get it out. Nigga, I just wanna bow. Look at them 20s where they crawl. I've been praying that my enemies fall, nigga. I just wanna bow. And I hope you bow too. And that be why I gotta keep it true. Nigga, I just wanna bow. Just give me what I'm due. Let my enemies see the living proof, Lord. I just wanna bow. Trying to build my own city, homie. Enough room to put my niggas on it. Just start a couple business on it. Fuck any heathen never shitting on me. Yeah. Public housing we done lived through. Trying to put that in my real view. Gold rolls what I still do. I can see the picture with a clear view. Gotta separate the snakes and all you fuck niggas that's gon' hate. Daily pray to God I don't catch another case. But that's a small risk that I feel I gotta take. Only certain niggas, they gon' feel this. Still deliver verses on that real shit. If I get a couple million, I'ma bust this shit down with these children. I just wanna bow. Told my niggas stand tall, cause we about to go and get it out. Nigga, I just wanna bow. Look at them 20s where they crawl. I've been praying that my enemies fall, nigga. I just wanna bow. And I hope you bow too. And that be why I gotta keep it true. Nigga, I just wanna bow. Just give me what I'm due. Let my enemies see the living proof, Lord. I just wanna bow. Yo, get up out of bells, homie. Got killers with them rounds on them. Look like I'm dead from the drums. Look, don't make me make the reaper rain down on them. I can give a fuck if you rock blue. And I was Suwu from the Fruittown crew. Cops still shoot us every time we move. They hate you, nigga, like they hate me too. Just know that brotherhood is a weapon. Build another zone, get protected. Too many sisters in the city been molested. Now I'm stacking soldiers off the block like it's Tetris. Woo. Know that truth, it give you chills, don't it? Steady ringing in your ears, won't it? If I'm blessed to make a meal, I'ma bust that shit down with my real homies. I just wanna bow. Told my niggas stand tall, cause we about to go and get it out. Nigga, I just wanna bow. Look at them 20s where they crawl. I've been praying that my enemies fall, nigga. I just wanna bow. And I hope you bow too. And that be why I gotta keep it true. Nigga, I just wanna bow. Just give me what I'm due. Let my enemies see the living proof, Lord. I just wanna bow. Hey.
Yeah. To all them children, they grew up with parents strung out on drugs. Yeah.
I just wanna bow.
Hope you do too. And I hope you do too. Yeah. Man, to the brother that had a real, and she left him for whatever reason. Yeah.
I just wanna bow.
I hope you do too. And to the sister, you know what I'm saying, that had that nigga leaving. Yeah, yeah.
Nigga, I just wanna bow.
Some of my niggas is locked up. I hope you do too. Man, I hope you niggas see the light of day.
Yeah, I just wanna bow. Yeah, I just wanna bow.
Allah open ya. Now Bashim Yahweh
Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Burger Thumb, Yahweh Shemala Thun, Bashim Yahweh Shai. Clap it up. Most High in Christ. We ready to rock, Asher?
Come on, sir.
Okay, once again, I'll get all of your questions tonight from all around the world.
If you have any questions in the room that we're simulcasting from, you just raise your hand and Asher will get your question. I'll answer it for you, or you can type it into the chat room. Also, our topic tonight is some women who come into the truth to get a man. Lo and behold, they don't have the kind of courage, the kind of faith to stay in the truth and to keep that man. All right. The same thing that ruined their entire life ruins the opportunity that they have in the truth for happiness in this kingdom and everlasting life and rulership in the next kingdom. All right. It's the same old thing, the same old battle that always defeats you.
Right.
It will also defeat you in the UPK if you're not strong, if you're a coward. All right. We'll go into that topic as well. And I'll get all of your questions. I'm ready to rock when you are. Let's go, Asher.
Sir. So the first question I have was from Natasha Yahawada.
Mm-hmm.
Shalom, Adawan. Can I get a breakdown of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 7, verse 24?
No problem. Go ahead and break it down for Asher.
Sir. Ecclesiasticus, chapter 7, verse 24. It says, hast thou daughters? Have care of their body, and show not thyself cheerful toward them.
Hold up, Asher. Hold 1 second. Hold up. Don't having a problem here. Hold on, Asher. Stand by 1 second.
Yes, sir. For anyone else that has questions, please type in your question in the chat. That way I can mark them and save them and put them to the side, Baba Kasha.
Warrior with the hands, that's what I'm all about. Hunger in my eyes, vengeance in my mouth. They don't want no altercation. Situation gon' get critical. It's best that you be easy. The end gon' be biblical. Look, flow like a river. It's something like a miracle. Royalty in my veins, loyalty in my ways. Pay back in every breath, plus revenge in my heart. The truth in every word. Bring light into the dark. And I ain't never lukewarm. Shit, I blazing in the season. Got plenty food for thought. Just gotta watch who I'm feeding. Now they walking with them angels. So I guess I got this pistol for no reason. Niggas barely breathing, criticizing all my achievements. Won't make me weak. Nah, it won't make me slack off. These niggas baby fat song. Better bear witness or back off. I be ripping shit like sackcloth. Dumb dogs all barked out. Behind me say I cup full. No room for emotion. So I pour my heart out. This road hard, but I intend to stay. And if it ain't UPK, then they in the way. My niggas righteous, they real, they down to suffer. Flow so deep, they drown a motherfucker. He say he in the truth, oh yeah? Bro, this the home. And I don't hate them brothers, I'm just too loyal to my own. Plus what they believe, hard for me to follow. No rank me, no head. And I ain't leaving this body to live and sleep in hollow. So when they ask I'm UPK, you tell them absolutely. And I ain't trimming my ways for nothing. Gotta execute me. Cause I can never die with my tail tucked between my legs. Shit I be thinking, watching my daughters tucked in their bed. They so smart. And Alana, she's so beautiful, but they ain't like other babies. And they daddy far from usual. Now I'm missing cause I'm about my father's business. It ain't about the shit I used to do in that 98 Navy. The tan leather seats. See, without wisdom, this world make you weak. I found out that the truth was bitter. The lies are sweet. Tried everything. I guess me and Johanna had to meet. Now I make the blind see. And I make the dead speak. And teach both my little girls the day that they lie with a man, they better bring me bloody bed sheets. Chaos match the time. This Glock match my handpiece. And I ain't trying to take him out, but I will defend this house. Or take a check. One foot.
That's a luck, y'all. Give yourself a hand. Let's get it on. Most High in Christ. All right, Asher, what was the question again?
Consul, the question was, if you can break down Ecclesiasticus chapter 7, verse 24, they want to know, what does show thyself cheerful mean?
No problem. Let's start above it one verse, all right?
So it's like it says, what does show not thyself cheerful mean?
Come on, I got it out. Go ahead, one verse above it, please. Tell them where you are.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 7, verse 23. Hast thou children? Instruct them, and bow down their neck from their youth.
Read that again.
Hast thou children? Instruct them, and bow down their neck from their youth.
Let me tell you something. This is a problem I encounter, man, daily. Daily. A few brothers called me this week about a couple of idiots that decided to come up against the school this week, man. And whenever I meet a person like this and spend hours trying to counsel a person who will inevitably become a waste of my time, one thing they always have in common is terrible parents, a terrible household. All of the problems that your mother creates, Commanding General Yohana has to fix. All of that terrible household that you live in, getting molested, having sex with your mother's boyfriend, having sex with every fool you can find in the world in your mother's house while she's at work. We have to fix all of those problems. Your mother who berates you and belittles you and emasculates you your entire life. The mother that doesn't allow you to see your father, or the father that's a drunk and who teaches you to be a drunk. Those are the problems we have to fix. So the first thing you want to do, like, if you want to have a good place in life, if you want to have a good start, then pray the Most High blesses you with good parents, man.
We're in class. Sure.
Is everything all right?
Yes, Slakia, sir. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Pray the Most High blesses you with good parents. Now, most of you did not have good parents. Most of you didn't have good parents. And so because of that, it becomes very difficult to instruct you later. Because quite frankly, you just aren't used to being taught by a father figure or a mother figure. Because you had terrible mothers and terrible fathers. And many of the people that have been ringing my phone this week about some slut who leaves the truth in Canada or some idiot who leaves the truth in the Midwest, of course, had terrible mothers. Absolutely horrible families. Look at that devil that shot up those people down there in the Midwest this week, man. He had a terrible father. The father bought him the gun, signed for the gun, said his son is totally safe with a gun. Meanwhile, his son was a psychopath. But of course, he wanted to make his son happy. So he went and signed a piece of paper that said, I will be legally responsible for any damage my son does with this gun illegally. And then his son goes and becomes a mass murderer. You better pray to the Most High that you have good parents. Here's the good news. In the UPK, we provide excellent parenting for you. Excellent. But the problem is some of you just aren't used to correction. You just aren't used to a parent correcting you. You understand, Asher? Are you there?
I'm here, sir.
Okay. You understand, correct?
Concern.
All right. If you're a parent, instruct your children. Go ahead.
Verse 24. Hast thou daughters? Have care of their body. And
now here you go. Now, if you have a daughter in specific, you want to have care of her body. You see the women's movement that's coupled today with the LGBTQ plus community becoming one political force in America, right? The Black Lives Matter, the women's movement, and the gay community. All of them are a single political force here in America. Well, the basis of the gay community and the women's community is being absolutely against judgment, being absolutely against correction. Now, you can't ever tell them that they're wrong. They have one rule, and that's that you're not allowed to ever tell anyone that they're breaking rules. You're not allowed to ever tell anyone that they shouldn't do something. Well, the Lord said, if you have a daughter, man, you have to do what? Read that again.
Concern. It says, hast thou daughters? Have care of their body.
Have care of her body. You got to watch out for her body. What do I mean by watch out for her body? Realize that there are men trying to have sex with her. A lot of you idiot mothers out there, you're such a stupid slut yourself, and you had sex with so many of your mother's boyfriends that what you'll do is you'll go leave a good man because he has another woman, and then put your daughter in a situation where now multiple men are going to come in and out of her life who possibly could have sex with her, who could molest her. And of course, you could care goddamn less because you're in the pursuit of happiness constantly pursuing the end of your own misery. Watch her body. There are people that want to have sex with your daughter. There are your friends and your cousins and all kinds of different people, and mainly your mother's boyfriends that want to have sex with your daughter. You got to have a care for her body. And because of that, you have to watch her humility and her shame to make sure that the woman, or the little girl in this case, learns how to dress. That she doesn't dress like a goddamn whore at 10 years old and twerk on Facebook and on Instagram. Because you're going to treat her body like it's something you have to watch and protect, because there are predators that want your little girl's body. You understand? Go ahead.
And show not thyself cheerful toward them.
You understand that, sister? Where the sister asked this in the class or in the chat room?
In the chat room, sir.
Yeah, and show not thyself cheerful to them. A lot of you sluts that leave the truth, you hate us because we're serious men. And we don't allow you to do things that might harm yourself if we can stop you. Now, in many cases, we can't stop you, and the Most High has to stop you. But you can't show yourself cheerful to your daughter when she is misbehaving, meaning because your daughter is a girl and she's sweet and she's just a little precious thing, you can have the tendency to not chastise her when she deserves it. You know, you can think it's cute. You know, oh, you know, she don't do that to her, and you can take it light on her. Okay, you should never abuse a child, whether a boy or girl, but be careful to make sure that your daughter doesn't become the kind of person that does not respect authority and the kind of person that doesn't want to be told anything. And that's what you raise outside of the UPK. You raise little girls who don't ever want criticism, who don't ever want to be told what to do. So then finally, when they meet a priest in the UPK who is giving them instruction, who's telling them what to do, they don't want that. They want someone that just appeases them, like the women's movement of America. If a woman wants to murder her child, yes, you can. You can do whatever you want. If you want to be a slut, sure. Don't slut shame her. Don't tell her what she can wear. If you don't want to breastfeed your child, well, don't force a woman to breastfeed her child. That doesn't matter. And you have a society where anything that a woman does is acceptable because no one wants to correct a woman, because no one wants to get her upset. No one wants to get her angry. Well, in the UPK, you're going to get a father and you're going to get a husband too.
Right.
I pray you understand that. You're going to get a father that'll tell you, close your goddamn legs. That'll empower you to say, you decide whether you're pregnant, not the government. You decide it. Biden didn't force you to have a baby. You decided to have a baby. You decided to have sex with that boy. You decided to be a drunk or an alcoholic. You decided to leave the truth. I pray you remember. Remember that. Anything else?
And the last part of the verse, sir. That was it.
All right, good to go. Any other questions?
Counselor, Colleen, you having any questions, Colleen? Chicago, any questions? Charlotte, any questions? Memphis, any questions?
Oh, damn, Asher. I forgot to do the shout out. Do the shout out, Asher. Let's hear him.
We got
Memphis. Give Memphis a hand. Shout out Memphis, Tennessee. Charlotte, North Carolina. Stand up for him. Chicago, give him a hand. Killeen, Texas. Get it on.
Baltimore.
Baltimore, give Baltimore a hand, man.
HQ.
HQ, and of course, Harlem in the house, as usual. Jerusalem headquarters, all right? Anything else?
And yourself.
Most High in Christ will just consider me Harlem. That's who I am wherever I am. Let's go.
Concert, if no zones have a question, I'm gonna go to another question online, sir. This question,
Yes, sir.
Lucky, go ahead, brother.
A brother in Chicago has a question, sir.
Let's hear it, Chicago.
Go ahead.
Like, sir, if I could,
Con.
I want to know, what is the prodigal son, sir?
No problem. Let's go to it. Good question. Give him a hand. Let's go to the story of the prodigal son. Many Christians have lied about this story throughout the years. Many people have read this story in Bible studies, and Christians constantly bring this up along with John 3:16 and turn the other cheek to try to validate the very soft and homosexual way of life that's in the Christian church, when the actual meaning of this story is not about loving someone who is wrong and forgiving them. That's not what this is about. This is about the restoration of the nation of Israel. This is about the coming together of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And I'll explain it right now, all right? Go ahead and start from the top.
Luke chapter 15, verse 11. And he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me.
For time's sake, I'm going to break it straight down for you, lay it down nice and flat for time's sake, all right? Remember, the man had 2 sons, right? One was younger than the other. The 2 sons are speaking about the 2 halves of the nation of Israel, which is speaking about what was called the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, what we call today blacks and Hispanics. The elder, there was an elder and a younger. Who's the elder? The Lord said he gave the tribe of Judah the seat of the eldest son. Judah became the eldest son among the 12 sons. Judah is the eldest son, and Ephraim is the youngest son. The blacks are the eldest son, and the Hispanics are the youngest son. Of course, your officers and your captains can give you all of these precepts, all right? Or I can with enough time tonight. So we're speaking about Israel and Judah. Southern kingdom, northern kingdom. Southern kingdom is Judah. Northern kingdom is Israel, blacks and Hispanics. All right, go ahead.
Concert. Luke chapter 15, verse 12.
And I'm sorry, what you might need is above it to understand what it's talking about. Go up above it a little bit, all right?
Yes, sir.
To the topic. Mm-hmm. Go up above it more. Right, I'll stop right there. Okay, go read 4.
Luke chapter 15, verse 4. What man of you, having 100 sheep, if he lose one of them, doth not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after that which is lost until he finds
Christ is talking about, when you read above it, he's talking about the Samaritans, who, of course, Judah hates, because Judah believes that the so-called Hispanic tribes, that's the name we call them today, are Gentiles. They're thrown away because they lost their position in the family of the Israelites when they sinned against God. So at this time, there was the tribe of Judah only. That's in the Bible. And only the tribe of Judah was left. That's in the book of Kings, all right? And so it was the Jews, and everyone else was a Gentile. So you had Judah, Benjamin, and some of Levi. Blacks, West Indians, and some Haitians, and that was that. And they considered the rest of them castaways, throwaways, people who were thrown out of their land because of their sin, and there was the tribe of Judah only, all right? But then Christ is saying, but which one of you, if you had 100 sheep and you lost one, wouldn't you leave the 99 and go get that one? Well, why would the Most High not go get his sheep who is cast away? The Most High was going to go get the Hispanics. And later on, what happened? The Most High threw away the tribe of Judah as well. So now here we are in Chicago and Memphis and in Harlem and in Baltimore, throwaways, people who were cast off. Now all of us, including Judah, are Gentiles seeking our God to receive us once again. So that's what the story of the prodigal son is about. And you go up above it, it'll explain it clearer. All right, go ahead.
You want me to keep reading, sir?
Keep reading from where we started.
Sir. Verse 5. And when he had found it, he layeth it on his shoulders, rejoicing.
No, not that. Skip down to the prodigal son for time's sake.
Yes, sir. Luke 15:11. And he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living.
So then the younger son is who? The northern kingdom. The youngest son said, give me my inheritance now. Whatever money I'm supposed to get from being the youngest son, give it to me right now. I don't want to wait to get it later. I want to have it now so I can enjoy it now. That was the life of the Hispanics back in the day. That was their life. The Lord said that their branches grow over a wall. The Lord said Ephraim is as a cake unturned, and his branches go over a wall. Meaning just like a cake is in the oven and it doesn't get brown, it doesn't finish, it doesn't cook, that's Ephraim. And now his branches go over a wall, meaning he constantly wants to mix in with the other nations. And that was the tribe of Ephraim. That was the Hispanics and North American Indians back then. They didn't want the covenant of Israel. They wanted to join the nations round about them. And the Most High was angered by it. And that's this part. They don't want to live in this home. They don't want to be in this nation. They want to take their riches and wealth and leave. Continue.
Verse 13. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living.
And that's what happened. So then when they got their inheritance, they went to a faraway country, to the other nations, and then they lived riotous. There they ate all of the pork they wanted. What is that pig that the Ephraimites love so goddamn much? It's like a whole disgusting pig. Piranera, something like that. And all of that filth that they learned to eat from the Spaniards. Come on up.
It's called Pernell.
Pernell.
Yeah.
Like the Coochie Fritos down there in 110th Street down there. A filthy, disgusting place you hate to walk down the block. It's so disgusting. Say again?
Salakia, sir. Can we precept that with second Exodus when they say in the 10 tribes went away to another land?
Absolutely. That's when they were cast away. That's when they were thrown away. That's when it happened. And so they left and they go to a faraway land. And in that faraway land, they just become like the other nations. And they do the exact same thing today. That's why every Mexican, you better be careful before you start, loving Mexico. Don't do that. Don't love Mexico. Mexican is not a race. There are white people that live in Mexico. I pray you understand that. Chinese people that are Mexicans. Okay? White people for sure that are Mexicans. You can't fall in love with this country. You better fall in love with La Raza. That's who you love. You love the people, not the country, because anyone who lives in Mexico is a Mexican. Just like the Jamaicans who call themselves Jamaicans, but in actuality, they're East Indians. Or the Chinese people, they call themselves Trinidadians. The country is not Israel. The people who were thrown away in that country are Israel. Everybody understands.
Salakia, sir.
Come on.
If I may. Salakia, sir, if I may, it's on point that you say that, because I was just saying earlier how East Indians and Ethiopians play the line of Trinidadian people.
Exactly, but they're not. So you want to I'm saying that to be careful not to love, some country as if it's your race, but it's not. It's not. The people who are the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel, that is who you are to love. Issachar, Ephraim, Manasseh. You understand? All right, go ahead.
Chicago, was that it?
Do I need more? Oh, wait, keep reading. Come on, fast.
Yes, sir. Verse 14. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine.
You see that? So now he joined himself to a citizen of that country. Now he joins himself to the Spaniard. Now he becomes one of the Spaniards. And what do the Spaniards do? They make him a pig farmer. They send him out to, herd pigs and to feed garbage and trash and feces to pigs. When he could have been one of the 12 tribes of Israel. He could have stayed in his father's house. But instead, he wanted to live riotous. He wanted sin. And that's the great temptation of. That's what the UPK fights of. We don't fight people. We don't fight white people or Chinese people or Africans. We fight the sin that the children of God prefer in those people rather than God's commandments.
Right.
That's what we fight. That's our enemy. Because that sin is what divides us from the blessings that our Father would provide for us. Continue.
Concern. Verse 16. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat.
You understand? He would fain. You know what that means? Meaning he was so desperate that all he had to eat was just whatever the pigs ate. That's what he would eat. Corn husks and corn silk and trash. He was so weak, he'd eat what the pigs eat. And that's what has happened. That's the cuchi frito. That's the filth that a lot of Hispanic tribes, call food. Some old filthy crustacean or filthy pig slop that now they call food because that is what the Spaniards gave them as dinner. Keep going.
It's like it, sir.
Go ahead.
If I may, because a lot of different northern tribes, they'll eat like iguanas or guinea pigs. Or,
that muskrat. They eat that ugly. They eat that possum, which is something I don't even want to look at him alive, let alone dead. That possum, I forget. He's called something else. The Benjamites called a possum something else. What do they call the possum, Benjamin? Not a muskrat, a mongoose. That's what they call him. They call him a mongoose. And it's disgusting. But why do you eat it? Because you were the slaves of the Spaniards. You were their slaves. And how do I know for a fact? Because years later, after this, the tribe of Judah became slaves also. And then the tribe of Judah started to eat chitlins and pig feet.
Raccoon.
And whatever slop you would give a pig. That's the same thing that the slaves ate in the South. That's what the slaves ate in Mexico. The slaves ate in Puerto Rico and in Haiti. Well, the things you would only trash, you would give a pig. Trash. Continue.
Concern. Verse 17. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare? And I...
When he what? When he what?
And when he came to himself.
When he what?
Came to himself.
When he what?
Came to himself.
Oh, yeah, we've had that moment, those of us that stay loyal to the UPK.
Right.
What God provided in it. All of us, there's a time, we come to ourselves. See, there was a time when we weren't ourselves. What were we? Just lustful pigs. Just trying to get high. That's it. Just trying to get high. Just trying to have sex. Just trying to stick your penis in anything. Or some of you women, just trying to feel love. A lot of you sisters, you're love junkies. And every idiot on Facebook that likes your picture gives you a warm tingle inside. Because you think to yourself, maybe I'm not fat and ugly the way my mother said I was. Maybe I'm pretty. So then you become a love junkie. But then one day, you come to yourself. You say, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. When I was in my father's house, the servants in my father's house were treated better than this. Why should I want to be a Mexican when I can be an Israelite? Why should I want to be an American when I can be an Israelite? Why should I be a Haitian, a Dominican, a West Indian when I can be one of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel? A servant is better treated in my father's house than one of these nations, man. That's what you think when you come to yourself. When finally your head comes back. Go ahead.
Salakia, sir.
Come on up.
If I may, sir, when it says, and when he came to himself, can we use that also? Like if I want to explain that I'm my own demon.
You're your own demon. No, I wouldn't go there. There's better ones for that. Just coming to yourself means that at one time you weren't yourself. You weren't thinking like yourself. You were thinking like someone else. Now, it is a demon, but on this topic, you want to stay on the other nations. You want to stay on the faraway country and how you went to work for one of those people in the faraway country. Because this is Christ teaching us to divide from the other nations. That's what this is talking about. It's right here in front of you. It's written in red, which means Christ said it. And Christ right here said what? Go up above it when he talks about the people in the faraway country. Asher, go ahead. Read it again.
Concert. Verse 15. Salaki, verse 13. And not many days after the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country.
Into what?
Took his journey into a far country.
Into Mexico. What? Read that again.
Into a far country.
Into America. Read it again.
Into a far country.
Into Europe. Read it again.
Into a far country.
Into the West Indian Islands. Read it again.
Into a far country.
You see, that's what happens. We went on slave ships and we went to these faraway places and then began to act like the people who ruled there. Not like our people, but to act like the masters in these strange faraway countries. So this is perfect because this is Christ separating you from the people in those faraway countries. So you want to stay right here if you're breaking this down. And read more when he talks about how he began to work for one of them. Asher.
Verse 14. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and he began to be in want. Verse 15.
So now in that faraway land, he began to be in want. What is want? Poverty. That's what want is. You see, this ain't spiritual. This is slavery. This is oppression. This is you're living in America and you can't afford gasoline. You're living in Great Britain and you can't pay your rent. You're living in a tent in the richest country on the planet Earth. You're in that faraway country and you're poor. You're poor. Keep going.
Concert. Verse 15. And he went and joined himself.
He did what?
And joined himself.
To what?
Into a citizen of that country.
This is Christ telling you to separate from the Spaniards, to separate from Spain, to separate from the East Indians, to separate from the Chinese, from the Japanese. This ain't Christ telling you to separate from, sin or badness. He's telling you where and the sin and the badness comes from. It comes from you joining the citizens of that faraway country. I don't know what else I can do for you. I don't know how better. I can't lay it down any flatter than that. It's right there in front of you. It's in the New Testament. Read it again, Asher.
And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country.
Keep going. And now what happened? Now, when he joined himself, when he decided, I'm going to speak Spanish, I'm going to become a Catholic and worship Santa Madre, and worship all of the saints and worship everything and Maria. And when I'm going to be the best Catholic I can be. I'm going to go fight in their wars and defend them from their enemies. I'm going to do it. And when he went and made himself a servant of these people in these faraway countries, go ahead.
Concern.
Go ahead.
And he set him into his fields to feed swine.
That's what did his master do in his faraway country?
Set him into his fields to feed swine.
Yeah, that's what he did with you. So now, after you made yourself the most wonderful Catholic you could be, the priest molest your children and put you in a field to pick strawberries and tomatoes. Now you're an immigrant farmer, and that's what Catholicism got you. That's what loving Mexico and loving the South American countries got you. You're sitting in Mexico selling drugs so you can survive. Not selling drugs so you can, become a drug kingpin like on the movies. That's not what's happening actually. What's happening actually is you're selling drugs to eat, so you can eat and not starve. That's the reality of being in the drug cartel or working for the cartel. Selling drugs so that you don't die. Well, that's what you get. You join this country, and it's not like you were insincere. You gave your heart to Christianity. You gave it all your mind and all of your soul. You made yourself a servant of your country. And they had you feed pigs. And it got so bad. Continue.
Concern. And he would verse 16, and he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat.
It got so bad that you began to want to eat what the pigs eat. You know, there's an animal I can guarantee that would eat a pig. You know what animal that is, Asher?
Another pig?
Another pig. He absolutely would do it. He absolutely would eat pig. He would do it. And now you're like him. You're a pig. You're a pig that would just eat the husks in a pig trough. Am I making this up? Is this hyperbole? Do I have to Google this and put this on the screen? Asher, can you show me how slaves ate in the South out of pig troughs?
Concert.
Can you just put a picture of it up on the screen? So if someone thinks this is speaking about this is spiritual, because Christians break down the prodigal son like, you have to forgive them when they come back and love them and kiss them. This is talking about your family members. This is not talking about whatever gay thing you want it to be. This is talking about the restoration of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, both halves of the nation. That at this time, one of them was cast off. In the future, both of them would be cast away. But God is coming to get them. God sent Jesus Christ to die for them. And God sent Commanding General Yohana to represent Jesus Christ in your life so that you could obey him, knowing that he obeys Christ. Not like Creflo Dollar, who's just a man. That's what he showed himself this week. That Creflo is just a man, fallible in every way. So why in the hell could he ever lead the children of Israel back to their God? Nah, you need someone who's actually going to do what Christ told them to do. And that's Commanding General Yohana. Now prove me wrong. You show me your preacher. Well, this is what this precept or this parable is about. It's about bringing back together the southern kingdom with the northern kingdom and making them one. The southern kingdom went off. And they went and became the best Catholics they could be. Better Catholics than the Catholics. Better Catholics than in Rome. And what did it do? What good did it do for them? How did it help them? Now look at them eating like pigs in poverty. Continue.
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
Salakia, sir. Officer Badger. I remember back when I was first coming into the truth, I had a brother I knew who was Mexican. He had a problem mainly because in his eyes, I was taking away his culture. Like, my whole thing is, we didn't really get into a whole conversation, but like the whole argument I would have had is like, that's not your culture. And I would have brought up the fact that pig isn't even like native to the Western Hemisphere, like at all. Right. Like no group of Hispanics ate pig prior to the conquistadors. Like, I wanted to know, how would you have combated like having?
I would have said the same thing. I mean, it's a very slave thing to say that the tribe of that the culture of the Spaniards is your culture, and the tribe of Judah does the same thing to you. That's exactly. This is their country. Those same idiots that were out there celebrating the 4th of July. Wait until the new Black Panther comes out. Oh my God! Listen, when the new Black Panther comes out. Oh, you are going to think they live in Wakanda. But meanwhile, those same black people were out on the 4th of July blowing off their fingers to celebrate the 4th of July. And the tribe of Ephraim and Issachar and Simeon, they're no different. They think that the religion of their slave master is their religion. How about that? It's Stockholm Syndrome, Mark. That's all. It's Stockholm Syndrome. Continue, Mark. Let me wrap this up.
Concern. And no man gave unto him.
That's it. Now go back down to where we were. That's just to prove what this is actually about. Now go back down to when the son came back. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Verse 19, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make
Above it.
me,
Above it.
verse 17.
Mhm.
And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger?
He realized that he could be treated better if he came back to his father. He would be treated better. He doesn't have to be treated like some, Mexican immigrant in a field, dying and breathing up the dust from chili peppers all day, getting cancer in some factory. He doesn't have to do that, man. He doesn't have to smuggle drugs and sell drugs all so he can feed his family and get his children clothing. He doesn't have to do that. And if he came back and if he served his father, that he would have much more than these people in these faraway countries. He'd have much more than them. Keep going.
Consul, I found an image, sir. I was
Go
looking
ahead.
for the image from eating out of troughs, but it was very difficult to find. So I ended up finding something like this, how they had all the pigs laid out in a ditch.
That's the barbacoa. That right there. That's where the term barbecue comes from when they invented it. But you can find the slave one. I have it in a few books in my own physical books. As a matter of fact, it's in the book Tell All the Children Our Story. It's in that book of the children eating out of a pig trough. All right. You can just look up that book online. But this is an image that is available. All right. Just keep going.
Consul, let me just share the scripture again. Verse 20. Sorry, verse 18. I will arise and go to my father and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee. Verse 19.
That's what you do to come back home. To come back home, you go to your father and say, Father, I have sinned before heaven and before you. You take blame for what you've done. You repent for what you've done. Continue.
Consul. Verse 19. And am no more worthy to be called thy son.
I'm not worthy to be called the tribe of Ephraim, the tribe of Issachar, the tribe of Simeon. I'm not worthy to be your son after what I've done, after the murders I've committed, the sexual deviance that I've taken on, the breaking of thy law. I'm not worthy to be called a child of God. Continue.
Consul. Make me as one of thy hired servants.
That's all I want. Let me come home. Treat me like one of your servants. I'm not even asking to be treated like your son. That's real repentance, brother. That's the real thing, huh? That's sincerity. Continue.
Consul. Verse 20. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion.
Had what?
Had compassion.
Had what?
Compassion.
See, even though he was willing to be treated like a servant in his father's house, his father knew that his son was finally home. And that's what the Most High God wants for the Hispanic people, man. For the tribe of Issachar, who are the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, who are the tribe of Ephraim, the Dominicans or Simeon, the Lord's chosen people, the Simeon, the Dominican people. Who else? The South and Central Americans, Asher and Naphtali. Those people are the children of God, man. And when the Lord sees the Hispanics come back home, finally contrite and willing to give up being Catholic, to give up serving the Spaniards, and now being willing to come back and serve their own people, God is going to treat them like princes of the power. Continue.
Yes, sir. And ran and fell on his neck and kissed him.
That's what happened, brother. The father is going to be happy to see La Raza come home, man.
Right.
To see Barikwa come home. To see Asher come home, man. The Most High is going to be absolutely elated. Continue.
Consul. Verse 21. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son.
Keep going.
But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat and be merry.
You understand? So the father was so happy to see him, man. He had a party for him. Killed the fatted calf. The fatted calf is that calf that's the biggest and the fattest one, the one you're prepping to kill. So you're feeding it and giving it, you know, a good fatty meal, like full of corn and different things like that, or whatever the hell a cow eats to get fattened up, to get finished. That's the term they use, to finish a calf. When you get him all fat, and they got that calf together, man, told the servants to get him some jewelry out, put some jewelry on the brother, man. Let him rock some chains and some rings and some bad garments. Get him dressed up, man, because a child of God has come home. Continue.
Yes, sir. Verse 24. For this my son was dead and is alive again.
You better believe it. Right now, the tribe of Issachar, the Mexicans, they're dead in the world. They're dead. They're a nuisance race to white people. They're like alley cats begging at your door. That's what they're doing right now on the southern border. They're at the door of America begging to get in because their own countries are unlivable, because their own countries are not their own countries. They're owned by some other heathen or owned by America itself. So now they're at the southern border in the rivers, dying in the rivers, on trains, risking their lives, begging for America to open the door and let them in like alley cats.
In the back of trucks.
And in the back of trucks, dying in the back of tractor trailers, being cooked to death.
Right.
All for the hope of America opening the door for them. God damn it, those people in that truck are the chosen people of God. They should have rings on their fingers, chains on their necks. They should be on thrones. They should be on thrones. Wearing garments that no devil could afford to buy. That's what they should be doing. And that's what they will be doing. That's what's going to happen in the future. Continue.
Concern. He was lost and is found.
Damn right. Go ahead.
And they began to be merry.
And they begin to be happy, brother. Keep going.
Now his eldest son was in the field. And as he came and drew nigh to the house, he heard the music and dancing.
Who's the eldest son? The tribe of Judah, the so-called Negroes. At this time, the tribe of Judah was not thrown away because this was before 70 AD. In 70 AD, Titus put an end to the Jewish state. All right, but before 70 AD, the tribe of Judah was in Israel, in Jerusalem, behaving as if they were the children of God in public and eating pork in private. All right, so at that time, they were the children of God in position, all right, in that position in Jerusalem. Go ahead. So then Judah, he was working when the son came home, but when he came back home, he sees they're having a big old feast, a big old party. Go ahead.
Verse 26, and he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant.
So he called one of the servants and said, what's going on here? What's this party all about? Go ahead.
And he said unto him, thy brother is come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he have received him safe and sound.
The servant tells him, man, your brother's home, man. Your father killed the calf because your brother is home safe and sound. He didn't die. He's here. He's here. He's back home. That's why we're having a party. Continue.
Concern. And he was angry.
He was what?
Angry.
He was what?
Angry.
Now we're talking about the reality of blacks and Hispanics and our relationship with each other. Here's the reality of our relationship, right? I've seen this many times in counseling people. Let's say you're a black person and you have a job in Esau's kingdom that's a sophisticated job, a job where you need a doctorate or a master's degree to get the job. And there will be so few black people working that job. And inevitably, a black person will be the one that interviews you. And that black person does not want to hire another black person. That black person wants to be the only black person that works on that job. They do not want another black person to work at that job. They don't want to share with their brother. Well, here is the reality of the relationship between blacks and Hispanics. We do not want each other's success. We're against one another. And that division is true in the prisons out there in the West Coast, out there in California. That division you see in the neighborhoods all throughout America. That division you see everywhere. That we are not happy for one another. We don't support each other. We don't care about one another. There will be a protest for George Floyd, but there will not be a protest for the Hispanics that are murdered by the police every day. That won't happen. We won't care about each other's suffering. We won't care about the plight that each other has. The LGBT community can come together with Black Lives Matter, but the Hispanics cannot come together with black people. That can't happen because we don't support one another's success. And our enemy knows it, and he uses it against us both. Well, Judah saw that Ephraim came home. Judah saw it, and he was angry. He was upset. Keep going.
Concert. And he was angry and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him.
He wouldn't come to the party, so the father comes out and says, "What's going on, man? What's wrong?" That's what entreated means. Like he asked him, "What's wrong?" Go ahead.
Concert. Verse 29. And he answering said to his father, "Lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgressed I at any time thy commandment.
I've always been with you, and I've obeyed you and done everything you told me to do." Go ahead.
Concert. And yet thou never gavest me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends.
A kid is a goat or a young goat. That's a kid. All right. You never gave me a goat to kill so I could have a party with my friends. Go ahead.
Concert. Verse 30. But as soon as this thy son was come, which have devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast killed for him the fatted calf.
But your son comes home, as soon as he comes home, who has taken the money you gave him and spent it on prostitutes, whores. You have a party for him, even though he did this thing that was so evil. Continue.
Concern. Verse 31. And he said unto him, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine.
That's what the Most High God was trying to tell the tribe of Judah, man. Listen, you're with me forever, and everything that I have is yours. Continue.
Concern. Last verse. Verse 32. It was meet that we should make merry and be glad. For
the word meet means good in Old English. It was good that we should make merry, meaning have a happy time and be glad. Go ahead.
Concern. For this thy brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and is found.
And was what?
Found.
And was what?
Found.
And was?
Select, sir. And was lost.
And was lost. And was lost. This precept is about the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and about the restoration of the 12 tribes of Israel, and how we have to come back together. And we can't hate each other. We can't have enmity against each other. I'm quoting precepts as I'm breaking this down for you, all right? That you can go and find in your concordance. We can't have enmity against one another. We can't be jealous of one another. We have to thank the Most High that we're back, man. Thank the Most High that we're back, because we're going to share in our Father's house. We're going to share our Father's goods. And it's much better being with our Father than being with these people in this faraway land. Everyone understands. Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shai. All right. Next question, Salakia. Go ahead.
Chicago, you good?
Let me get Colleen, Texas.
Concert, we're good.
The water, Colleen.
Salakia, sir.
Mm-hmm.
If Baba Gashab, I could, I have a question out of Ecclesiasticus chapter 42.
All right.
Verse 14, just a general breakdown, sir, of the precept.
Go ahead.
Come on, sir. Better is the churlishness of a man than a courteous woman, a woman, I say, which bringeth shame and reproach.
Yeah, that's a good precept, Bob. Have you looked up churlish yet?
I can pull it up right now, sir. Salakia.
Please look up churlish, all right? I believe it means cruel.
Come on,
you
sir.
can look it up, or rude. Just confirm if you don't mind, all right?
Come on, sir. The definition that I have, sir, out of Google, it says resembling or characteristic of a churl, vulgar, marked by a lack of civility or graciousness.
That's good enough. Just think rude.
Come on,
you know, many people say that we're rude, that the UPK is rude. They think we're rude because we say bitch a couple of times. So what? Sometimes we say bitch. Goddamn, who cares? Sometimes we say the word bitch. It could happen. It's probably going to happen tonight when I go into my topic.
Right.
It's a strong possibility. All right. And so because of that, people say that we're rude and, you know, well, guess what? It's better to be, some men are better rude than a woman who is what?
Courteous.
Than a woman who is courteous. And what are we talking about? So I got one rude man. He's rude. Then I got this woman, and she is so sweet to everybody. What kind of woman are we talking about now? Who knows? Anyone know?
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead,
a manipulative woman.
I'll take that, but give me a woman who's always flirting, always trying to seduce a man, all the time. She just supports everyone and everything, and she's so supportive. That's all she can do. That bitch is a slut and a liar and a whore and manipulator. And of course, she's trying to have sex with everyone because she's a love junkie. Some of you, these women out here, brother, some of you that married a couple of women like this, you can't even trust them around other women because they will have sex with another woman simply to be touched by somebody, just to be touched, because the bitch is a junkie for love. So you think you're stopping her from being around men? She'll go and let some old bulldagger touch her and then tell you she's not gay. I'm telling you, she's going to say she's not gay because really she's not gay. She just has to get attention. So she always just says everything that everybody likes, and she'll always, have Facebook posts that support, Dufar, what's some countries, France, support France, and support this, and support the gays, and support everybody. She doesn't give a damn about gay people. She cares about being liked. That's it. She's super, what's the word to use right there?
Courteous.
Courteous. Now, I'm not talking about real courteousness. The Bible is talking about that kind of woman that is really manipulating people. That's it. She doesn't care about anyone. She don't care about kids. A ton of these bitches out here, they don't care about, fighting for the rights of abortion. They don't care about fighting for anything. But all of their Facebook posts will be about how they can just support someone. And they're supportive of this and they're supportive of that. Really, they're trying to manipulate people. They care about nothing but selfishness. Nothing. Read the rest of it after courteous.
Come on, concert, Salakia. 1 second. A woman, I say, which bringeth shame and reproach.
Here we go. That's how you know the kind of courteous woman we're talking about. She brings shame and reproach. She's an embarrassment because all she cares about is saying what her mother likes and saying what these people like and saying she can't help but to say happy birthday. She can't stop. She cannot help but saying Happy Father's Day, Happy Birthday, Happy 4th of July, Happy this, support the LGBT community, women's rights. What she just says whatever she thinks people like. That's it. If people like it, then she's going to say it. So really, she has no opinion on anything. She looks on the internet and looks to see what the popular opinion is that will get her likes. And she just says that. And that's all. Because really, she's someone that's going to bring you shame. And you brothers got to watch out for these type of whores. And you better stop causing me to have problems with them. Okay? You better stop. Right. Let me tell you something now. I make good choices when it comes to marrying a woman. You understand me? I make good goddamn choices. You better start making good choices too. Because inevitably, some bitch that you want to stick your penis in has to be a problem for me. And I never understood that. I've never understood how your wife gets mad at you and somehow she hates the UPK. And I always wonder, what in the hell did we do? Like, what did we do? I didn't do anything to you. What did General Yohana do to you? Before you know it, some old stupid idiot bitch who had more sex with her mother's boyfriend than her mother. She gets on the internet and says she's a cult survivor. She survives a cult. She had more sex with her mother's boyfriend than her mother did. Damn. Now, how in the hell? What did we do to her? I don't know. I don't think we had sex with her. We didn't rape her. I think the Christians raped her. Right. They raped her, but somehow she survived this cult. Bitch, you can't survive without this cult. You better remember that. Right. You cannot survive without this cult. We're gonna see. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. All right. All right.
Hey, the water, sir.
No problem, Mark. Next topic.
Should I get Baltimore as a question?
Please, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. Brother, I wanted a general breakdown on Genesis 32 and 32.
Mm-hmm. I'll take it.
Yes, sir. Genesis chapter 32, verse 32. Therefore, the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh.
Right, that's an old tradition that we do not do anymore. That was done at a time in Israel in a certain region to remember when Jacob fought the angel, and the angel broke the inside of his thigh. That tradition fell out years ago, much like dwelling in booths fell out years ago in the Bible. Usually it happens because of poverty. We stopped dwelling in booths because we no longer had to remember what it was like to dwell in booths, because we had to live in booths because we were homeless. Many traditions like this will die off in Israel, but it's speaking about you get a piece of chicken, you see the part after the meat is gone, you see that part that's connected to the bone. I think they call it the gristle or that white part that's on the chicken bone. All right. Some of you don't know because you eat the whole bone, eat everything. Eat the entire goddamn thing, crunch the bone like a damned wolf. But there is a sinew on that bone, a ligament, and at time Israel would not eat that. But it is absolutely lawful to eat it because there is no law in the dietary law. It was a tradition to remember that Jacob fought an angel and the angel hurt his hip. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Next.
I think Charlotte might have had a question, sir.
Charlotte, go ahead.
Sir. Could I have some precepts on Christ preferring the poor over the rich?
Oh, please, no problem. Give me the book of James, right? Give me Lazarus. There was a rich man. You can give me that. Are you familiar with these?
Sir. I'm mainly interested in the ones where he's speaking of the poor in specific, where he came for the poor, I'm
Matthew 5 then. All right, I mean, but you, as long as you know about Luke 16 and where James went all into it about rich men. And then after that, I would go to Matthew, the 5th chapter. I would go to blessed are the poor. Is that good enough for you?
Sir. You said it was where, sir?
Matthew 5. Give me blessed are the poor.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 3. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
That's what you need right there, man. You know what I mean? Like that's us. We're poor in spirit. Okay? Everything about us is just poor, suffering, depression, agony. That's us. And keep reading down. Keep reading. Keep reading.
Concern. Verse 4. It says, blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted.
Keep going.
Blessed are the meek, for they shall.
You know what it means to be meek? You know what it means to be meek? To be powerless. To be powerless. And our people are powerless. That's why we fight for abortions. Blacks and Hispanics are having 4 times the abortions of white people. And we fight for abortion because in spirit we know that we don't have enough money to take care of our children, and we don't have enough discipline not to get pregnant. We don't have either. Not only do we not, can you imagine how lazy and stupid you have to be to get pregnant when there's a list of birth control methods that will fill up this goddamn screen? Give me the birth control. Put the birth control on the screen real fast. Let me show you what it is to be poor in spirit. Give me the list of all forms of birth control on the screen. Every last form. All right. Except for abortion, which is not birth control, which is murder, state-sanctioned murder. All right. There are so many forms of birth control out. If you are pregnant and you did not want that baby, that means that you did not get a pill. The 10 different kinds of pills they have. The IUD, the one they inject right in your arm. The diaphragm, the this and the that and the this and the that, and a robot that goes in the vagina to stop you from getting pregnant. You haven't gotten any of that. You don't get any of that. You don't do any of that, even down to a goddamn condom to protect your nasty ass from getting sexually transmitted diseases from this man who you don't want to have children with. So you've not done any of these at all. And then you have a baby, and the thing you fight for is abortion. When you couldn't pop a pill in your mouth once a day. You couldn't shove one of that things up there, the female condom, the pill,
UID,
the UID, the hormonal ring, the injection, the diaphragm, the patch, the calendar rhythm method. Goddamn, what about the rhythm method? I forgot about that. All you have to do is have sex at a certain time. You don't have to take anything. You could just not have sex when you're ovulating. And bitch, all you need is a calendar for that. A calendar. You could use the rhythm method. You could use, what is that? Coitus
interpretus.
Coitus interpretus. That's the same thing. You see the clock? Coitus means sex. Interpretus means where you interpret or decide when to have sex based on your period to make sure you don't have sex. Give me the last ones.
Concern. You have the female condom, the hormonal ring, a UID, an injection.
We read them all. And here's the last one: surgical sterilization. You know what that is? That's that. What's that called? When you take out your ovaries.
Salakia, sir. That's getting your tubes tied, right?
That's getting your tubes tied. Now, all of that, even the tubes tied one, is permanent as hell and unwise, but it's not murder. It ain't murder. Damn, if you really don't want kids, get your damn tubes tied. I don't recommend it. You will regret doing it, but it's not murder. So you're telling me you couldn't do any of these? All you could do is kill the baby. You're an idiot. Like, you're stupid, and there's no cure for that. There's no surgery for that yet. The Most High has a way to fix dumb people up. One day we'll get to enact that type of legislation. One day. But for now, there's no surgery to cure that type of selfishness. That's stupid as hell. Go back to where we were so I can stay on topic.
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify, is Plan B unlawful?
Now, what is Plan B? I vaguely heard about that one. What is that?
Plan B is basically, if I'm not mistaken, within the first 72 hours of having sex, it's used basically for spermicide.
Right.
Meaning,
Spermicide, if it's spermicide, now you better go read up on it and ask your doctor about it, all right? But spermicide is killing sperm, and you don't have to keep them alive. Okay?
Right.
But you can't, but once the sperm fertilizes the egg and makes a person, then you're killing him if you stop him from living or her from living. All right. Everybody understands. All right. So if that's all it is, if it's just killing the sperm, then that's lawful too. There's so many things that you can do if you just had a little compassion for children, but you don't have any compassion for children. Why? Because your suffering is so great that you can't care about the pain that fetus will go through when his arms and legs were ripped off of him. All right. Now the UPK has been carrying those abortion signs on the street since 1969. Those same abortion signs to show people exactly what's happening to your child when you rip him apart and shred him in pieces, all because you couldn't use birth control and you couldn't decide whether or not this brother was the kind of man you wanted to have a baby with. You couldn't do any of that. We're poor in spirit. We're poor. Our poverty is so great that we don't care about anything else. Anything else?
Charlotte?
La sir.
Take that all the way down, and you should be all right, along with Leviticus. Luke, the 16th chapter. See me one more time? Go ahead, Al.
Like, sir, it's about to be 8:30, and you have the two topics you want to get into.
Right. Any more questions? Let me try to get a couple more in.
Sir, I got about 7 more questions for you.
Let's try to see if we can go do them fast, and I'll get to my topic. All right. Also, too, the brothers called me this week about 2 women. Just so you know, it's so rare when someone leaves the truth. It's super rare when people leave the truth. Most people do not leave the truth. Commander General Yohana over the years has become very selective and sure about who he allows to become a member of the ISUPK. And give your captains a hand, because your captains are very selective. Our process usually weeds out the kind of person that would bring shame and dishonor on this holy place. Right. But sometimes some people leave the truth. Now, it's rare, and I would say of everyone that leaves the truth, 75% of them beg their way back in this school. 75% of them beg, call, and beg to come back. When do they beg to come back? After they've left and lived riotous. After they've lived riotous, and then we're sitting and contemplating eating out of a pig's trough. Then they decide that it's better to be in my father's house. Then they all come back, all right? So this week, I think 2 bitches left the truth. Of course, they went and trolled everybody in the school. Trolled all of you. Give the Lord a hand. They trolled all of you. I heard y'all stuck it to them good. Give yourselves a hand. Some of y'all stuck it to them strong. Give it to them. Let me tell you, man. Anyone, listen, nobody's forcing anybody to live this life out. The life we live is for the rare and special sister. This life is rare. And a sister has to be amazing to be in this school. A common bitch can't be in the UPK. She's not going to make it in here. This is not the kind of place for her. Why? Because we don't treat her like every thought she has is important and everything she wants she can have. You got to go to the LGBTQ community for that. You got to go to the abortion rights people. They'll treat you like everything you want is good. You want to be a slut? You want to be a whore? I'm sorry, not a whore, a sex worker. I forgot. You can't call a whore anymore. That's wrong. So she wants to be a sex employee. One second. She wants to be a sex employee. She wants to be a sex engineer. So that's what you have to call her now, because God forbid you should just call her up. 1 second. Shalom. Shalom. Oh, no. Slaki. Sex, a receptionist. God damn it. You get it, right? 1 second. The host has, I'm sorry, throughout. Okay, now, so a woman like that can't last in here, okay? So if you want to leave the school, go ahead, because you're going to come back anyway and beg your way back. You can do it. No problem. It's fine. It's okay. No big deal. Your husband has 3 more wives anyway.
Right.
The difference is he care. He doesn't mind. He's fine, all right? But however, if you come up against the school or you say something to insult this holy place that started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York City, then of course you could become an enemy to this school. And that is a terrible, terrible thing to be. All right. So if anyone has any questions about these 2 sisters, you can ask me tonight. I'll answer them for you. Okay. If you don't have any questions, then I'll just move on and forget about it. But if you have a question, if maybe it's a sister online, some of you sisters, whenever a woman says something about the school online, it breaks your faith, because you're sitting home, you're lonely as hell, you're miserable, your husband has another wife, and the minute you hear a bitch says that I'm leaving my husband, you think to yourself, well, maybe I should leave my husband. You should leave him. Get the hell away from him. Do it before he gets you pregnant and you go and abort his child. Do it now, because there's 2 more women that I will give your husband the number of those 2 girls. The minute you left, the minute you leave your husband, I'm going to make sure he gets another wife. I'm going to make it my business. I don't usually make it my business to involve myself in your man getting a woman. But if your wife leaves you for being in the UPK, you call me and I'm going to put you top on the list to get these young tender things I got brewing and cooking up here in the UPK. You give me a call and we'll work it out. Everybody understands.
Come.
But I can tell you how a while you how shine. All right. So now if you have a question about either one of those people, you just call me. Or any body you see online talking about the school, ask me about it. If it's some bitch online who's talking about the school, slandering the school, saying we did this, we beat the hell out of women, we do this, we do that, ask me in class. Ask me in public. That's what I prefer. I hate when someone calls me on the phone to ask me something, as if it's a secret. Call me and ask me. Do it live. Do it in front of everyone. And I will answer the question in front of everyone. Ask me a question about Commanding General Yohana, about some rumor you heard about him. Ask me about me, all the stuff you heard about me. I'll give you a blanket answer. It's all true. All of it. Everything is true. Everything that you ever heard about me is true. You better remember that. So now, but if you want to ask it in specific, you can ask anything that, because I know some bitches, they go online and they talk about us, and you might be sitting home wondering, can you bring it up? You can bring it up, but I would prefer that you bring it up in public so that everyone could hear the answer. All right. Okay. Now with that, I'll answer some questions. Go ahead. Whatever you have, Asher.
Concern. This one is from Officer Kasar Pakad. Sir, if I may, can I get a breakdown and the spirit behind Matthew chapter 21, verse 14?
Go ahead.
1 second, sir. Matthew chapter 21, chapter 22, verse 14. It says, for many are called, but few, Slakia, for many are called, but few are chosen.
Read above it.
Concert. Verse 13. Then said the king to the servants, bid him hand and foot, and take him away.
Better give me above it, please. More.
Outer
Go up.
darkness. Slakia,
Go
sir.
up. Just to get you to show you what it's talking about, all right?
Concert.
Try 8, try 7.
Verse 7. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies, and destroyed those murderers, and burned up their city. Then saith he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which are bidden were not worthy.
Let me give it, for time's sake, I got to break it down quickly, all right? The many are called, and it's talking about the Sadducee and Pharisee. They were the many that were called. They were called, but they were not chosen, meaning the Most High gave them the opportunity to lead the nation of Israel, but they were unworthy, and so they lost the job. So the ones that you can directly relate this scripture to today is your Creflo Dollar, your TD Jakes. Why? Because they got the job before the UPK, meaning they used to lead blacks and Hispanics. They led blacks and Hispanics. The preachers, the reverends, the Catholic priests, they had this job before we had this job, but they weren't worthy. And so they lost the job. And you're seeing that happen this week with Creflo Dollar, who now comes out and tells you to burn all his books. Bitch, you could have asked me. I would have told you to burn all his books. You should have always burned every book that Creflo Dollar ever made because it's full of lies.
Right.
Now he tells you to burn it. Now you listen. Now you listen. I told you that book was a waste of money. I told you that book was toilet paper. You didn't believe the UPK. Well, guess who said it this week? Creflo Dollar literally came out and said, if you have books of mine, please burn them. If you have preaching where I said this, please throw it away, put it in the trash. Bitch, I could have told you that 10 years ago, to throw that book in the damn trash. You didn't believe me. Well, Creflo Dollar, he was called, but he wasn't chosen. The Sadducee and Pharisee. That's what this is talking about. Who are the ones that were chosen? The disciples of Christ. They were chosen. They weren't the first ones to be called, because we've had men of God that were around before us, but they weren't actually men of God. They failed. They had the chance, they had the job, and they failed. And let me tell you people one thing right here, and listen to me carefully, especially somebody that leaves the truth. When you come back, you better be up to date with your tithes. You better be up to the goddamn minute with your tithes. All of that money, Creflo said he doesn't want anybody to pay tithes anymore in this church. That's true. Now, here's what I'm telling you right now, and you see if whether or not the UPK represents God. Every penny that you were giving Creflo Dollar, now you owe that money to the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Right. Every dollar that you were giving Creflo, you better give it to us. Every penny, every dollar, every red cent that you gave to Creflo so he could buy jets and Rolls Royces and mansions, now you give that money to Commanding General Yohana and see if we don't create heaven on earth. You see if we don't make a kingdom, a community here that's worthy for Christ to come back and save it. But please believe it, you owe it. You owe every goddamn penny that you were giving Creflo. Now you're going to give it to us. And you're going to do it. I pray you understand. Anything else? Next question. Come on.
Concern. Next question is from Kashab Yahawada. Can you break down 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 3?
All right, go ahead.
First Corinthians chapter 6, verse 3. It says, Know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life?
Judging angels is speaking about ordering angels. Like imagine a judge in a courtroom and there's a bailiff or a guard in the courtroom, and the judge is telling the bailiff who to arrest, who to let go. The Most High said, we will judge angels, meaning this, that we're going to pray to the Most High God to save someone's life. And an angel will go and carry that request out that we made to God. That's us judging angels. And we ask the Most High to help someone or to heal someone or to barak or to bless and protect someone. There's an angel that carries out that request. There's also another request that we ask the Most High to curse our enemies,
right?
And to curse the enemies of Israel. There is an angel that carries out that request. That's us judging angels. So why can't we do something small? If an angel will carry out a request that we make to God, then why can't we do the small thing like judging this world? That's the point. You understand? Go ahead.
Counselor, South Carolina has a question, sir.
South Carolina, you're up.
You on mute, brother.
I can't hear you out.
Hey, shalom, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
I hear you fine.
Okay, come on, sir. I had a question about the menorah here. Is the menorah only to be lit with candles only on the feast of Hanukkah, sir?
Oh, well, traditionally we light the menorah as well as every candle on Hanukkah. But no, you could light the menorah whenever you feel like lighting it. There's no religion attached to it. You can light it whenever you want. All right, but traditionally we make sure that all of the candles are lit in the school, because Hanukkah is when the UPK refurbishes and revitalizes and freshens the school. All right, so let me give you the tradition. So every year, right, we have schools all over the world, right? And there are different things on the wall, different decorations, like you see right there in Baltimore or your school in South Carolina, right? Well, every year you're going to look at your school and you're going to see, how can we freshen this up? How can we decorate it or make it more elaborate? And you will do it on Hanukkah for those 7 days. So now you put new pictures up, give it a paint job, make the podium higher. Every school, make sure you get a podium, man. Make sure you put that desk up high, right? You might decide to make your podium taller. You might get more equipment, more lions, more, whatever you have, more candles. You do that during the time of Hanukkah, traditionally in the school, because Hanukkah is when they redecorated the temple or they restored the temple. So that's why we light the candles on Hanukkah, but not just that candle, every candle, and freshen the school up as well. Redecorate the school and make sure it's beautiful every Hanukkah. You understand?
Come on, sir. And if I could ask another question about it. So would it like say if class was tomorrow, would it be against the tradition to light it? Or
hell no. Go ahead and light the thing if you feel like lighting it. Light that thing up and get it on. That's no problem. It's just, remember, in the past, that was the only source of light in a school. You understand? Like, you had to light it for light. So now that we don't need it for light, we light it whenever we want to. Traditionally, we'll make sure we light it on Hanukkah, but you could light it whenever you want to light it. All right?
Come on, sir. Throw out the other one.
No sweat. Next.
Abadi has a question, sir.
Salakia, sir, on subject, what is the 9 bulb thing? Is that just Esau being a bastard and further bastardizing our culture? Or is there, because I believe they say it has something to do with the days of Hanukkah, but is it just them being a bastard to further?
Well, the short answer is Khan. It's about them being bastards. The long answer would be that in their mind, Hanukkah is the Feast of Lights. That's what they call it.
The
Feast of Light. It is, of course, not the Feast of Lights, right? But they call it that because, and the reason it's 9 is because they want to light 1 candle for every day of Hanukkah, and they add an extra candle so they can use that candle to light the other candles. And that's why it's 9 as opposed to the traditional 7 is what it should be. All right. Go ahead. Next.
It's like it says 846.
Okay. How many more? Come on. I got to get on. Any more?
Concert, I got a few more.
How many more? Try to wrap them up so I can get them all so I can know I'm done. Go ahead.
5.
Go ahead.
Concert, okay. This one is wants to know, how do you improve your endurance in the truth?
How do you your endurance? Okay, I'm assuming you mean, how do you last for a long time, stay in the truth, not leave the truth? Okay, to improve your endurance in the truth, you have to follow the rules of the truth. So many people don't last in the school because they never actually come in. All right. Let me give you an example. If you're afraid to go to a trespass council and you won't go to a trespass council, then you're not going to last in the school, because when you have a conflict, you're going to handle it yourself. It's not going to work because you're an idiot, and it won't work, and it'll be stupid. And then later on, when you stop coming around, someone will say, why won't you, what happened to you? I won't ask you that, but somebody that gives a damn about you might ask you, well, what happened to you? And you'll go, well, man, I was having a problem with brother so-and-so. That brother, he was not treating me right. And then the brother will ask, well, did you take him to counsel? No, I never did that. All right, shalom, have a nice life. It's because you won't follow the rules. So because you won't follow the rules, you leave because you never were in it. What you should do is follow the rules. Come in here and actually do the things that we tell you to do. It's like a 12-step program or a drug rehab program that you won't follow the steps. You won't follow what they're telling you to do, and you wonder why you keep relapsing. You're relapsing because you're not following the steps. You're not doing it. So since you don't do it, you fall back into the world. I pray you understand. Next.
Concern. My brother would like to know if he can get a breakdown on and precepts on why we shouldn't wear crosses around our necks, such as the Christians.
Okay, the Christian cross is an idol. So you want to just pull any precept that's about idol worship, because that is what it is. I will give him first wood and stone in the Old Testament. I'll have time for that one, and that's all. But you want to pull every idol scripture that you have, because the Christian cross is an idol that they wear around their necks. As they worship it, they think that it has power. They make the sign of the cross to protect them from evil, because it's an idol. It's a god. Give me wood and stone, and then I got to run. Come on.
Concern. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 67.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. Sorry, verse 64. Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth, even unto the other.
Mm-hmm.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
Thou shalt serve what?
Other gods.
You see, there's the Christian cross. That's a god. That oppressor that's on that cross is a god. But it's not the God of the Bible. It's not the God of Israel. It's a whole different God. All right. It's the God of your adversary, of your oppressor, of your enemy. And you worship him. Other gods, go ahead.
Concern, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
But you or your father, you didn't worship that God. That's the God you learned from slavery. That's not the God of your people. That's a God you learned from the slave ships, from oppression, from being murdered. Continue.
Concern. Even wood and stone.
Even what?
Wood and stone.
Even what?
Wood and stone.
Even wood and stone, right? And what is the Christian cross? Wood. What's the stone? The cobblestone. What else is a stone? All of the stone statues of the Catholic Church. All right? Stone gods, wooden gods, the wooden cross around your neck. Stop being such a damn slave. You wearing a cross. For what? For your grandmommy? For that preacher? Does the Catholic priest wear a cross? All right, he's a child molester. You want to dress like him? Guess what? You're going to molest kids like him too. Next question.
Concern. The next question is on a book of Wisdom of Solomon. chapter 14, starting at verse 15 to 17.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting it for you right now. Right? And the question is, sir, can we use the wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verses 15 to 17, to explain the spirit that allowed Caesar Borgia to become the image of Christ?
All right, go ahead.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 15. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he have made an image of his child, soon taken away, now honored him
Perfect precept. Stop. Perfect. Absolutely, yes. This is how Caesar Borgia became your mommy's god. This is it. So, yes. Now, while I'm waiting there, does anyone have a question about some rumor they heard about the UPK? If you want to, you can type it in anonymously so that no one knows who you are. Although I will know who you are anyway. But you can type it in so that Asher might not know who you are, but he still might, because he's a prophet of God. All right. So I can't help you with that. But you can type it in. Anyone have any questions at all about any rumor? Any sisters out there? I know you hear rumors about the brothers in the school and different people. Ask it now. I'm giving you an opportunity. I'm going to answer any one of them. I'm saying this because I got 2 calls this week about these 2 whores that left the school. And of course, other weak women who want to leave the school think that they need permission to go when I'm encouraging you to go. I don't know why you're still here. And once again, it's only a couple of women. I don't want to just throw any dispersions on the sisters who love the Most High, because the vast majority of the women in the UPK, they're One West. You understand me? The vast majority of them are One West. You got a few schizophrenics out there. They don't take their medication. They got schizophrenia. They're having some problems. They'll be back. Now, if you want to ask a question, I'm going to answer it right now. Asher, do you have anything?
Not that anyone is trying to expose themselves.
Listen, well, I offered. Okay, now you see what I did, Asher. I asked them, didn't I?
Concert.
Okay, well, that's it. Well, shut your effing mouth then, because I tried to answer it. Thawada, give her a hand. Who's Chantel Love? Give Chantel Love a hand. That's right. But Nath Bunyamyan, give her a hand. Well, I tried to answer. If you got a question, maybe your faith is weak. Maybe some sister said something to you and weakened your faith. If so, ask the question. Ask it right now. Maybe those purple faggots. I remember last year, Asher, the purple faggots pretended to be a woman and went in and told other women in the school to leave the school because we'll beat the hell out of them. You remember that, Asher?
Concert.
That was last year. Once again, you could just ask us, man. You got a question, I gave you the opportunity to ask, all right? Now, let me give you a precept about those 2 sisters, right? So now give me, bear with me. Give me Job. Let's start with Job. And you brothers have to understand this too. And that's why it's so important that you choose well when you choose a wife, man. You got to choose a wife well. You can't choose a wife based on, some type of, lust. And a ton of you choose a wife based on desperation and need. A lot of you brothers out there, you're an alcoholic. And because you're an alcoholic, you don't really have the ability to just choose a woman based on logic and wisdom, because you're a stupid, ignorant drunk. So you go and you choose some old scallywag slut who has had more sex with her mother's boyfriend than she had. That's what happened out there, Ashley. It was this one sister out there in the Midwest. And her mother would call me constantly because this sister hated her mother. And Captain Mawa was working hard. Give Captain Mawa a hand, man. Captain Mawa was working so hard trying to help this mother, because the mother would call Captain Mawa because the sister hated her mother. And a lot of you out there, you think that the UPK divides families. We do not. We don't believe in hating your mother and hating your father. We teach brothers and sisters in the school to forgive their mother and father for what they did to them when they were kids.
Right.
Not to hate your mother because your mother was in the world. She didn't know any better. Your father, who didn't come see you and who rejected you, he didn't know any better. We don't divide families. Christians divide families.
Right.
The minute someone joins the UPK, then your mother hates you because you chose the God of Israel rather than the God of the Christian church. But we don't divide families. We don't tell anybody not to talk to their mother because your mother is Christian. We don't do that. But your mother will tell you not to talk to us or else she's not going to talk to you. And that's what this woman did. And this sister hated her mother. Why? Because her mother's boyfriend raped her when she was a kid. And this sister hated her mother. And the mother would call me and call Mawa Quad. And we would constantly tell this sister, forgive your mother. Your mother didn't know that her boyfriend was raping you. She didn't know about it. And we would try to tell the sister, but the sister hated her mother. Then one day, her and her mother called me on the phone with the police at the house because they're fighting each other over the children because the sister does not want the mother to watch the kids. And they're screaming in the background and the police are trying to calm them down. I got to get on the phone with the police and tell the police who I am, who I represent, and that these two sisters are not following our rules. We don't teach you to hate each other and to argue and fight with each other. And you damn sure better not embarrass us in front of white people. You better never do something like that. And these sisters were doing it. And we would constantly try to get the sister to forgive her mother. But lo and behold, her mother would tell her she has to leave us, get away from us, get away from us. And because of her stupidity and her anger at her husband, finally she listens to her mother and then says that she survived this cult. Bitch, you cannot survive without this cult. And you are going to see it happen. You're going to see it in front of your face because, listen carefully, you and your mother are going to fight each other. Fight each other. You're going to turn on each other. Your mother is going to take you to court and your mother is going to take your kids from you.
Right.
That is going to happen. It is going to happen. And when it happens, you will cry and want to come back. And you know what I'm going to say? Are you currently up to date with your tithes? That's what I want to know. I want to know if you've been paying your tithes. I want to know. The Lord said to give a prophet a gift before you ask for his help. Bitch, you better be plenteous with those gifts. You better have more gifts. It better look like Christmas Day for a child in the turn of the century. You better have all of the gifts in the goddamn world because the gift that we gave you, you rejected. All right, now that's one. All right. The other one. Who was it? It was another one in Canada, right? Okay, now the other one was in Canada. Now this one here, I didn't really know this one here. I found out about it later. But this one here was angry because she was flirting with an Edomite. She was trying to have sex with some Edomite man. Flirting with an Edomite Uber driver or something like that. I barely don't even know about it and don't give a damn about it at all. A lot of these women, they're not really even, in the school. Their husband is in the school and they really are just trying to be in the truth because they want a man. And that's always evident. You can always see who's doing that. You can always see this sister who really doesn't believe in anything, but she just wants a man. Meaning if you were a Buddhist, she would have became a Buddhist too for a couple of months. She would have did anything. She doesn't have any morals. She'll just say, well, what do you worship? Well, I worship lettuce and I worship the god Tutankhamun. All right, well, I Tutankhamun too. I do whatever you do. And that's what some women will do. They'll just become Muslim because their man is a Muslim, become a Christian if their man is a Christian, become an Israelite if their man is an Israelite, because really they don't believe in anything at all anyway. So it doesn't matter to them because they are empty, shallow vessels. They're like statues, empty inside, dead inside. Why are they dead? From too much mother and father, too much of the damage that their parents have done. Well, this one was, half a whore. She be in a car flirting with some Edomite and doing something with some Edomite, which, you can do that if you want to. It's a free country. Canada is a free country. You just can't be in here and do that. Okay, you can't be in here and do something like that. So for some reason, she's mad at her husband, which inevitably, that's what all this is about. Some bitch is mad at her husband, and for some reason, they blame us for it, which I have never understood. I've tried to understand. I asked them, well, how is this our fault? Like, what did we do? And you brothers have to be extra careful because of this too. Well, not brothers, I'm sorry. I'm talking about sisters in this case. Don't ever let someone make you think that what we're doing in the UPK is strange. We don't do any strange thing in here. You might go to court and you might be embarrassed to walk into a court because now you have to fight for custody of your child because this bitch who was in the school herself believed everything that we believe, supposedly. Then she'll take you to court and say you're in a hate group and you're in a cult. When that bitch was doing the exact same thing last week. But she'll go into the court and say he's in a hate group. Listen carefully. There is nothing we do in the UPK that's illegal. There is nothing we do that's strange at all. What we believe is the exact same thing that Jewish people believe. We believe in Jesus Christ. Well, every Christian believes in Jesus Christ. We believe in Judgment Day. Every Christian believes in Judgment Day. We believe that Christ is coming back. Every Christian believes that Christ is coming back. We believe in the dietary law. Every Hasidic and Orthodox Jew doesn't eat pork. Jews do not eat pork. They do not eat shrimp. Guess what? We believe in having more than one wife. Every Muslim sect believes in having more than one wife. The Muslims believe in having more than one wife. Guess who else believes in it? Just change the word wife to girlfriend. Right. Every Christian believes you can have more than one girlfriend. We don't get marriage licenses. So really, what we call a wife, the court in America calls girlfriends. Well, we have multiple girlfriends. 5, 6 girlfriends. 12 girlfriends. We can't have multiple girlfriends? Are you telling me Christians don't believe that men can have more than one girlfriend? Come on, Knock. Come on. Come on. We're not doing anything strange out here. Save one thing. There is something that we're doing strange. We're not liars, and we don't molest children, and we don't rape women, and we don't steal, and we don't sell drugs. We don't commit tax evasion like the Christian church. We don't take money from people to lie to the children of God. We don't work with the FBI like Al Sharpton does, work with the FBI. We don't commit crime. So if you're looking for what makes us rare and special, I just gave you a few things. Everyone understands. Give me the book of Job like I asked for.
What chapter and verse?
Vanessa Vega. Give Vanessa Vega a hand. Well said, sis. Now, and remember, and now when some bitch online tries to talk about us, remember, I gave her the opportunity to say it here. To say it right now. She could just type it in, and I would have answered it. Besides that, I don't know what I could do for you. Tell it to your mom. Tell your mom all of that. That same mom who's going to take you to court and take your children from you. Tell it to the next man who's going to molest your children. He's going to molest your kids. Now, remember I said that. You're going to go out and have sex with a new man, and that new man is going to go to jail, and he's going to molest your kids. All right. Give me what I asked for, please.
Oh, you didn't give me a chapter or verse yet, sir.
Job 2:8.
Yes, sir. Job chapter 2, verse 8. And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. Then said
right?
his...
Hold up. Let me make sure it's right. I think it's right. Do you see Lot's wife right there somewhere?
His wife is on the next verse.
All right, go ahead.
Concern. Verse 9. Then said his wife unto him.
Go up one verse. Now, this is Job, right? Most people know about Job. Job was a man who went through a terrible test for the Most High, his God, man. This was a righteous man, the most righteous man on earth. But the Most High put him through a test. A test. And that can happen to any man. Some brothers, you come into the truth and you'll get put through a test. And in your ignorance, you will believe that your wife will stand with you in that test. Well, when you are tested by the Most High, that's when your wife will get a test too. And many of these women who you have chosen foolishly, once she sees that you're being tested, she will fail her test. She cannot stand with a man who is committed to do a mission for God. A lot of you bitches, you couldn't have been married to Martin Luther King. If you were married to Martin Luther King, you would have told him to stay home and not to march. You would have been against him. You couldn't have married Malcolm X. You would have told Malcolm X he should stop being a Muslim and he should go and get a job. You can't be married to a great man. You're not a great woman. You're a common, everyday woman who had sex with her mother's boyfriend, who loves white people who drive Ubers. You're a common piece of trash, and you cannot be married to a great man. If you're married to a great man, you will divert him off of the path that God has him on, just like Job's wife. Now, Job was going through a terrible test. His health went bad. He was in poverty. He lost all of his children. And the one thing he had was his wife. And a lot of you, you've married a woman that can't stand with you in the rough times. This bitch can't stand with you when you get another wife. She leaves you because you got another wife. Meanwhile, every boyfriend she ever had cheated on her. And guess what? She stayed with them. She stayed with them. But you get another wife, and she acts like she has caught cancer. Like she's going to die. She's weak. You married a weak woman, and she cannot stand with you in a rough situation. She cannot see you when you are down and when you're sad. And if you think you can be an alcoholic and your wife is going to, support you, you're a damn fool, man. Your wife is not supporting you while you sit there and are an alcoholic. Come on, you better show your wife some goddamn strength. Why? Because your wife is weak anyway, and it's unlawful to be an alcoholic, idiot. You can't be a stinking drunk. You can't even be in the UPK, let alone have a woman respect you while you're claiming to be in the UPK and you're a goddamn drunk. Well, Lot's wife, Lot was going through hell and catching hell, and she was not going to support him during that time. Continue.
Concern. Job chapter 2, verse 3. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job?
No, not that. 2. Is this 2?
This is 2. You told me to go up a little bit.
I want Lot's wife. Give me that. Give me the what. So I just gave you what happened. Lot's wife is watching him get sick, lose all the children, lose all of his money, and he's in hell. And she's there watching it happen. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity?
Read that again.
Dost thou still retain thine integrity?
Read it again.
Does thou still retain thine integrity?
Like she's looking at Lot serve the Most High while he loses everything.
So like Job.
I'm sorry. She's watching Job serve the Most High while he loses everything. His kids died. He lost every penny. He went from being rich to being poor. And she said to him, do you still maintain your integrity? Do you see that? Your wife is shocked that you didn't leave the truth. She's looking at you like, are you going to still do this while you lost your job? While you don't have any money? While your family rejected you? Will you still maintain your integrity? She can't believe it. Bitch, you couldn't have married Martin Luther King. You couldn't have been Coretta Scott King. You would have told Martin Luther King to get a job and to not march. You can't marry a great man, some man that has a mission. You can't do anything. A nigga can't become an entrepreneur with you. He can't do anything with you because you're a loser. And you can't be married to a man that is striving for perfection. that is striving on a mission. You can't do it. She said, will you still maintain your integrity? Go ahead.
Sir. Curse God and die.
That's what she told him. She told him to curse God and die. That is what a weak woman thinks about you when she wants you to leave the school. She's wondering why you would still believe in this, even though you've suffered for this, and you've lost a job, and you've lost friends, and you've lost money. She can't believe that you would continue doing this because your wife is a pig. She's selfish, self-centered, and she had sex with her mother's boyfriend. And she likes Edomite Uber drivers. She likes white men because she's a wench. And she can't support you during a rough time. She's going to abandon you when times get hard. Lot's wife told him, curse the Most High and die. That's what she said. I'm sorry, Lot, damn it. That's what Job's wife said. And this was Job's response to her. Go ahead.
It's like I said, I think you're referring to Lot because she turned into a pillar of salt for not listening.
I know, Salakia. That is the reason, Salakia. But I want to stay on Job's wife, which is who I'm talking about now. You're right. Continue, Job. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Verse 10. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh.
That's what Job said. Job said, you talk like a fool, man. Can you imagine some bitch telling you to leave the school?
Right.
You know what happens when you come into the truth? You forget what life was like when you were in the world. You forget. You forgot you had sex. You forgot your mother's boyfriend raped you and your mother didn't do a damn thing about it. You forgot that? I didn't forget. I remember. Did you forget what it was like when we found you? Did you forget? I didn't. I'm going to tell everybody. Everyone. No, you forgot. You must have forgot what it was like when you were in the world. So now you want to go back because now you're fresh and you're revitalized. And now you're ready to get high again and to smoke more weed. Job said what? Read that again.
Sir. But he said unto her, thou speakest as
a hand. That's right, Tazaliah. Give her a hand. That's correct. You better learn to goddamn be obedient. You can't do what you're told. You're like a bad child who just can't do what they're told. Well, you're going to have to get out of your father's house then. You can't stay in this house and be disobedient. Read that again.
Sir. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh.
Go ahead.
What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil?
Wait a minute, bitch. Well, wait. Are you saying that you're only going to stay in the truth if God does good things for you, but he can't do anything evil to you? So the only reason that you're in here is because every good thing has to happen to you. Bitch, we're not genies. We ain't genies. We don't have good luck charms. We can't make every good thing happen to you when you come into the school. What the hell are you in here for? And a lot of you bitches, you in here because you think, well, I'll come in here so I can get a man. That's what you wanted. You see all these braids and these beards and these brothers, ooh, they big and strong. Ooh, they big and strong. And all of a sudden, it's Splash City. All of a sudden, you want a man. You come in here and you see all these brothers and you want to get a man. And you can get a man. But you're going to have to go through some rough times. You're not willing to go through any bad days. So the sun has to shine on you all day. Because the minute you have to go through something that's bad, the minute your mommy is mad at you, the minute your friends reject you, the minute your husband gets another wife, what do? Leave? Because what? You're unhappy today? So God has to just give you everything you want. That's it. So you have to just get everything you want. And as long as God gives you everything you want, you'll stay in the truth. Well, let me ask you a question, you dumb, stupid bitch. Did the Christians give you everything you wanted? What happened in there? It seems like they molested your kids. What was the religion of your child molester? That man, your mother's boyfriend who had sex with you, what religion was he in? I don't remember him. He wasn't in the UPK. He was Christian. And those men that beat you half to death and beat a hole in your damn head, what religion were they? And the Catholic priest that molested you and the preachers that rejected you, why is it that no one ever brings up the bad things that Christianity has done to them to say, that's why I'm leaving the Christian church? But they always bring up the one bad day that happened to them in the truth to say, that's the reason I should leave the truth. Because of my husband. My husband didn't make me happy. Bitch, what did the Christians do to you other than oppress your people for 400 years? That didn't upset you? That didn't break your heart? Huh? That didn't give you any emotional scarring? So you're leaving here, why? Because my husband got another woman. Because he loves another woman. Oh, but shut up. You're not worth loving. You're not worthy of goddamn love. You abandon people the minute things don't go your way. Why do you think anyone should love you? Read it again.
Yes, sir. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil?
Guess what, woman? If you serve the Lord, you're going to get a lot of good days, and you're going to get some evil days too. You're going to get a lot of sunshine, and you're going to get some rain. It's going to happen. God doesn't only give good. God also gives evil. God brings the springtime and the summer, and then the winter is coming. You better understand that. And if you could take 400 years of white Christian oppression and child molestation, nobody ever thinks of leaving the church over that child molestation. They're fine with that. They're okay. If you can take child molestation, rape, robbery, and murder for 400 years, I think you can handle your husband having another girlfriend. I think you can handle that for a little while. I think you'll be all right. Otherwise, don't marry anybody in here because we're not guaranteeing you eternal bliss. That's what the Christians guarantee you. They don't give it to you, but they do guarantee it. So you have to go become a Christian because we're not getting you high. We're not going to guarantee you bliss. Continue.
Thank you, sir. So, we have a question in the room.
I'll take it.
If I may, so I got a precept, sir.
Go ahead.
Ecclesiasticus 6 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
Again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. Verse 12, skipping down to verse 12. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee. I will hide himself from thy face.
Give him a hand. Any more?
Go
ahead.
Never.
Listen, man, that's the perfect precept. That's what I'm trying to teach you young brothers. Stop marrying a woman like that. You can't marry. And you know how you get a woman like that? Lying to her all the goddamn time. Give the sister the microphone in Harlem. Go ahead. Go ahead, sis.
I just want to say that I lost everything before I got here. I was in spiritual persecution for years and years before I got here.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got here, I knew I was supposed to be here. God directed me here.
Give her a hand. Well said, sister. Well said. That's a real sister, man. That's One West, man. And that's the kind of people that we want in this school. We don't want decadent Christians in this school, man. If you're some old decadent bitch who can't stand, not getting likes, and you need to be a whore, and you need to just constantly pursue happiness, go to the church. That's where the rest of you are. But you shouldn't be in this school. Well said, sister. Well done. That is who we want in this school, a sister like that. Everybody understands. And don't come in here looking for a man that you won't be able to hold on to. All right. Any more, Asher?
Sorry, so it's 9:20 and we still have questions and we didn't get to go over.
Let her ask Ephraim in there if we can go. We have 10 minutes or we got to wrap it now. Either one is fine.
Sponsored. We have 10 minutes, sir.
Real quick, if I may, other one.
Go ahead.
On the subject of Job, sir, someone had asked a question. Job was not an Israelite, correct, sir? He was he
Job is pre-Israel. Job was an Adamite.
Come on, sir.
He was an Adamite. He was not an Israelite because he predates Israel. But he was of the chosen family of that time, which would have been an Adamite. All right. Next.
Do you want to do the article, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, sir.
Damn, Asher, I forgot about the article. Right. This is the article. Everyone knows about that mass murder that happened this week in Illinois, right? And once again, this cat, he wasn't in the UPK. This devil was not in the UPK. All right. But no one thinks that it's negative to be in the world. Look at this type of bastard that is sitting in the world. But no one talks evil about the world. No one talks negative about the world. We're the hate group, though, right? We're the hate group. Well, what group was he in? Because he killed and shot 11 people and killed 6 people. Well, he was not in the UPK. Why does anyone hate the group that he was in? No one hates his group. But this is what I'm going to prove right now. This story of this mass murder is a perfect synopsis of every evil thing that is in the world today. And it's all of it wrapped up into one. Everything that Commanding General Yohana in the name of Yahushua Christ would have you reject. But if you accept these things, you will end up just like this mass murderer. Asher, do you have it?
Sir, I have 2 articles, the one that you want, and then also the one about his father, basically washing his hands.
Go ahead. Whenever you just read what you got.
Sir. This is from ABC News. Sorry, NBC News, one of the 2. Highland Park parade shooting suspect charged with 7 counts of first-degree murder. The suspect fired more than 70 rounds from his rooftop perch at the July 4th celebration in the affluent Chicago suburb, killing 7 and wounding dozens more.
Mm-hmm.
An Illinois man who police say for weeks planned the mass shooting on a July 4th parade has been charged with 7 counts of first-degree murder. Robert Bobby E. Crimo III, age 21, will be charged with additional counts in the shooting spree in Highland Park that killed 7 and injured dozens of others Monday. If convicted of murder, Crimo would receive a mandatory life sentence without the possibility of parole. It says here, state's attorney for the Lake County, Eric Reinhart, called the shooting a premeditated and calculated attack and said that additional charges will most likely include attempted murder and aggravated battery. We anticipate dozens of more charges centering around each of the victims, he said. It says here, hold on one second, go down a little more. Crimo, whom police picked up hours after the rampage, scaled a fire escape ladder to make himself a sniper's nest to fire on parade goers. He had planned the attack for weeks and wore women's clothing.
Say what again?
And wore women's clothing.
What do you say?
And wore women's clothing.
Here we go. If you look at this mass shooting, right? This is everything that we reject in the UPK, but everything that the world accepts. They accepted this. And the same way that they're going to pile charges on this man, every little thing that he did that was against their code, their laws, they're going to pile on him. But what we're trying to tell you in the UPK is there are so many things about this man that you could reject so that you never become him. You don't want to be this person, man. First of all, he's a murderer. And the Most High God is against murder, which is why no one should have an abortion. If abortion was legal in every state, no daughter of Zion should ever have an abortion, because if you don't value the life of your child, how can you value the life of adults? If you don't feel pity on a child who is helpless, a child who has no defense except for a mother's love, then how can I expect you to feel pity on adults who are walking down the street, adults in your neighborhood? you don't pity a child. So you definitely will not pity an adult. And these oppressors, they don't pity anyone. But you have to have a pitiful heart. You have to feel compassion on a baby. If you're a mother, I know you're poor. I know you're suffering. I know you don't believe you have the money to have this child. But this child is defenseless without your protection. You don't pity that child. You don't feel sorry for him. Well, then you won't feel sorry on people walking down the street at a parade. You won't feel sorry on anyone because you don't even pity a child. This is against what the Israelite School of UPK teaches. We teach our women, our brothers, to have pitiful hearts, man. Pity people who can't defend themselves. Pity the people that can't protect themselves. But our oppressor, he pities no one. And we would have you reject that kind of thinking. What else did our oppressor do that day? He dressed like a woman. In the Israelite School of UPK, we obey God's law. And you are not allowed to wear a woman's apparel ever. It's in the Bible. So if you go and became a murderer, you could not dress like a woman to escape being a murderer. Because the book of Deuteronomy says that a man cannot wear a woman's apparel. Is it Deuteronomy or Exodus? Someone will let me know in a second. You can't do that. Why? Because you're a man and you can't pretend to be a woman. I know this society tells you that it's normal, but dressing like a woman, pretending to be a woman when you're born a man is self-hatred. It means you hate yourself. If you're dressing like a man and you're a girl, you hate yourself. And the UPK would have you love yourself. Don't hate yourself and now pretend to be a man when you're a woman, or pretend to be a woman when you're a man. You have to love that person in the mirror. You got to love that person. Why? Because God made you that person. Everything else could be something you invented. But the one thing you are is your nation and your sex. God made you that thing. God decided those things for you. And you've got to love him, and you've got to know that God knows better than you what you should be. So if you are a murderer, a society accepts murder because they accept abortion and they accept video games and movies that promote the murder, the mass killing of citizens as entertainment. They promote these kinds of things. They want you to do these things, but the UPK doesn't want you to be a mass murderer. And the UPK doesn't want you to be someone who dresses like a woman when you're a man, or dresses like a man when you're a woman, because God made you perfectly. And you should be happy like that. Keep going.
We have the scripture, sir. Bible show.
Go ahead.
So this Slacking. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 5, which reads, "The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment."
So once again, everyone calls us a crazy cult member. We're in the cult. They hate us, right? We're nuts. Your mom can't stand us, right? You're afraid for people to even know that you're with us, which always shocks me. Whenever someone says, "Well, should I wear my shield on my job?" I go, "Yeah, why the hell not?" And they go, "Because people don't like the UPK." Why not? I don't remember us killing 11 people last week.
Right.
I don't know when we did that. When are white people going to be ashamed of being white? When is that going to happen? Huh? White people are never ashamed of being white. When meanwhile, mass murder after mass murder happens. What did the Muslims do after 9/11? Did they stop dressing like Muslims, Ashar?
Nope.
Nah, I don't remember that. After 9/11, they killed 3,000 people. Islam. Every Muslim still dressed like a Muslim the next day. Every woman was covered from head to toe in Muslim apparel. So what are you saying? You can't show that you're a Israelite? You can't show you're one West? You're a coward. And Muslims are not cowards. They still will. A Muslim woman will dress like a Muslim woman after 9/11. We don't murder anybody. We don't molest kids. We don't rape women. And we have a system of justice in the UPK that will weed out anyone who doesn't follow our rules. The Christians can't say the same. Everybody understands. Keep going, Asher.
Yes, sir. So this is that cross-dresser wearing the women's clothing. It says an image of Cremo obtained by NBC Chicago from a senior law enforcement official appeared to show him in a blue and white blouse with longer hair. During the attack, Cremo was dressed in women's clothing, and investigators do believe he did this to conceal his facial tattoos and his identity and help him during the escape. The plan seemed to work initially, as Cremo is alleged to have walked undetected to his mother's home, borrowed her car, and driven out of town.
Show me the picture of him, the real picture of him.
Yes, sir.
Skip down to the gangster rap.
Come on, sir. Abadia has a question, sir.
Go ahead, Abadia.
Yes, sir. I was thinking about this, and I'm a little young, but I was saying to myself, like 15 years ago, that would not have worked because he would have been the center of attention in any crowd he went in, because 15 years ago, them walking throughout the streets in the middle of a goddamn parade was not as prevalent as it was back then.
Well, if I see him walking down the street in front of the school, he's going to get my attention. This cat looks like an alien. I'll know I saw an alien that day. Once again, you're correct. Today, if he walks down the street, everyone goes, I accept him for his truth. He's living out his truth. But meanwhile, he just killed 11 people. All right, you have the gangster rap thing, then I got to go.
Counsel, a few more moments, sir.
Go ahead. Do I have any other questions before I wrap this up?
Counsel, Officer Dawada asked if he can get a breakdown on Luke chapter 20, verse 33 to 38.
I don't think I have time, Dawada. Try to see me on Monday, all right, or next Thursday, all right? I'll get you. Anything else?
Sir.
Okay, wrap this up and then we're done.
Salakia, sir.
You might not be able to find it. I'll just tell everyone, all right, Asher? Also, this cat made gangster raps about murdering people. He was a gangster rapper like Eminem. Like, what's that one everybody loves for God knows what reason? Post Malone. Like Post Malone. He's a gangster rapper. He makes gangster raps about murdering everyone. And of course, he goes out to live out his gangster rap murder fantasies, which is what a ton of music is, and video games and movies are people's murder fantasies. They might not be doing them, but they want to do it. They want to murder someone. Is this it?
Sir.
Go ahead, break it down.
It says here, Highland Park Parade shooting. What we know about person of interest, Robert Cremo's social media.
Mm-hmm.
It says, Robert E. Bobby Criminal III, who performs as Awake the Rapper.
Here we go.
Was taken into question.
He's woke. This cat, did you say Awake?
Concert, Awake the Rapper.
Awake the Rapper. He's woke, everybody. This is a woke rapper. His name is Awake. Keep going.
Concert. It says here, an IMDb page under Crimo's name identifies him as a rapper, singer, songwriter, actor, and director.
Oh, he's multi-talented, huh? He's multi-talented, multifaceted performer in need of attention, desperate for attention, has absolutely no talent in any of those areas, but he absolutely wants attention, which is what a ton of these mass murderers are. just little white boys who just need to be on the news. They need to be famous. And when they see other little devils murder people, they think to themselves, he's getting all the attention. He's getting all the attention. I'm not getting any attention because they're lonely and they're in need of women and they can't talk to women and they're half a homosexual, half a lunatic, and aliens more than likely. And because of that, they have to go out and get attention the only way they can to do the only thing that they have skill in, and that's murder. Keep going.
Concern. It says, the page boasts one of his songs released in 2018 amassed millions of plays.
Oh my God, I didn't know that, Asher. Millions?
Yes, sir.
This cat got millions of plays at this rap music. Keep going.
The hip-hop phenom
keep going.
is mostly known for his hit song On My Mind, which was...
Do they have it? I'm sure you can't play it, right? They don't have it up there anymore.
I'm not sure, sir. But that's an image of his.
What's that? Let me see it.
Image. It says, the track has amassed millions of plays so far across the online streaming platform, boasts one user-written bio. It says, Highland Park shooting suspect Robert Criminal III posted a video to his since-deleted YouTube page that included an image of a man with a long gun face down in an apparent pool of blood with cops standing in front of him.
I see it. It's like a movie art. Like they see themselves in such a dramatic and theatrical way. Like that's him laying in a pool of blood. Put it back up on the screen. That's him. He's laying in a pool of blood with all of his armaments all on him, and he wants the cops to kill him. And he thinks he's in Grand Theft Auto. He thinks that he's in one of these video games. What's the video games where that term ops comes from? And doesn't that, what the hell does that ops mean, Asher? Isn't ops from
it's like your opposition, your enemy, the people.
Right, but doesn't it come from some game where that's in it? Black Ops. Is that a game?
That is a game.
Okay.
It's a Call of Duty game.
Right, it's Call of Duty, right? And it's called Black Ops, right?
Sponsor.
Ask the kids whether or not that's where that game comes, that's where that term comes from, ops. Because whenever I heard it, I said, well, I thought to myself, that is from that Black Ops, from that game, from black people watching some stupid game and thinking now they're going to go out and live out the Black Ops. And it's, of course, ironic that they're Black Ops because, of course, the gangster disciples in New York and the black disciples will literally kill Black Ops. Literally.
Sir.
Come on.
So this is Officer Abraham, sir. A lot of the slang that they're using in the games now, they're using, in real reality because the kids is looking at the games and they're using certain words to communicate with each other in the games, like ops, because a lot of these reality games put them in wartime situations where the enemy is your opposition, which short for the opposition is ops. So they're using it in the streets. They also use like skin for clothes, like they use the word skins, meaning your outfits or your clothing that you have on. They call it skins. So a lot of the words and slangs that they're using in the games are starting to be used in the streets because, of course, kids play games and everything is a game, and then they bring that same thinking into reality, and with the virtual games, and it's just a whole big fake world that young folks are creating now with these video games, sir.
Well, I wonder, are Christians telling their kids they can't play these games? Because Christians are telling their kids not to join the UPK.
They
are doing that. Okay, well, it seems like instead of telling your daughter that she shouldn't be in the UPK, you might want to tell your daughter to stop watching these games and rap music and things, because your daughter is going to become a mass murderer. A lot of your daughters have already killed 3 babies. Why not kill a few more? Go ahead,
so I can interrupt good.
Mm-hmm.
Salaki, sir, this Officer 500 Mayal from Chicago. The word ops, the opposition, that was actually popularized by Chicago drill music. I believe the rapper Chief Keef. He's the one that popularized that in his songs. Like in the video game, Black Ops stands for like Black Operations. But in Chicago drill music, which has been popularized New York, UK, all over the world now, they're making drill music. The word ops, which is opposition, got popularized by Chief Keef from Chicago drill music.
That is absolutely true. But where did Chief Keef get it from?
That's once again, so that's somewhere within young Chicago gang culture.
I got you. Well, this is what you'll find out when you go research it. Little kids play video games, and around that time, that game was super popular. Black Ops, Call of Duty. It was popular when Chief Keef first came out. It was something that everybody loved. Now, once again, you have to ask, I guess, Chief Keef, whoever the hell that is. But that game was absolutely popular during the time that Chief Keef was out. I don't know where else he would have heard the term ops from before, but ops was in that game. And of course, kids don't go to school. So I don't know where else they would have heard the term opposition because they can't read. So I don't know where else they would have heard that term, but maybe someone will tell us. But this much I can let you know. Little kids from the ghetto were playing Call of Duty and Black Ops. And then Chief Keef got famous and he called people ops. And these games are full of people shooting each other. So you have to go do the research from there. You understand, Chicago?
Scott McCon, sir.
Now you can do the research and figure out what it is. All right. Anything else? Go ahead, Asher.
We got just some more images of the shooter, him apparently in a classroom here.
Look at him. And let me see that American one. Look at all that America stuff. That's a Trump rally right there. This is something that nobody wants to tell you. Once again, you can reject the UPK. And what will you be rejecting? A man having more than one girlfriend, or what we call wife. You'll be rejecting not eating pork, not eating shrimp. You'll be rejecting not murdering, not lying, not selling drugs. But what are you accepting when you reject the UPK? You're accepting murder. Skip down to that 4th of July, to that flag. Skip down. You see this man right here? He loves the flag. He stands for the national anthem. You can guarantee that. This cat here, he stands for the national anthem. We don't stand for the national anthem. Are we in a cult? Or is he in a cult because he stands for one? Because he believes in the ethic of the 4th of July and the ethic that built America, which was murder. He believes in it. Give me more of the Trump rallies. Let me see that.
This is him right here, dressed as Waldo at a Trump rally.
Yeah, look at him. Now, what now? This is not a cult. This isn't dangerous. You aren't telling your children to avoid this. He's looked at like a patriot. Like he's a patriot. Like he loves America. He's patriotic. He celebrates the 4th of July. He has the barbecue. He's a murderer and a transgender. He's a murderer and a transdresser. But you don't reject that because that's hateful to say things like that. No problem. But I'm not going to murder people on the 4th of July. But I will teach people not to celebrate the 4th of July. I will do that. Anything else, Asher?
Salaki?
We also what his father was saying, how he washed his hands. Oh, wait, we got him right here. Hold on. There he goes.
And of course, they arrest him without harming him at all. Safe like a little lamb. They don't kick him or knee him or nothing. They go and treat him with such ginger hands when meanwhile a 9-year-old boy is going to get shot to death the minute they see him because he's a devil and he's being arrested by devils and they love him and they accept this behavior. But if you join the UPK, you won't murder anyone. In the UPK, yeah, we defend ourselves. You know, that's the fact. We don't allow anyone to harm us. I pray you understand that. We will defend ourselves and defend the people we love, but we won't be the aggressor. We won't assault people. We won't harm people. We'll defend ourselves from them that would harm us. And that's one of the many differences between us and you. Anything else, Asher?
That's really about it, sir.
Solid. Any other questions? Last one. Let's go.
Salakia.
Also, has a question, sir.
Salakia, on subject, like I know we've talked about it in class before, how the Romans basically would drug and destroy their armies for situations like in fear of the army. Like with situations like this, like how do I say it? Is there a reason why white people should fear other stronger militarized white people? Like because of situations like this in January?
Yeah, absolutely, they should. They should feel them. They should absolutely fear them. And to them, it's just a byproduct of domination, of oppression. They have to dominate the whole world. So sometimes you might get a lunatic that does things like this. But to them, it's the cost of doing business. You understand? They know that what they teach and what they promote will create some people to be like this. But not everyone who plays video games and listens to, gangster rap will murder people. But they will make billions of dollars off of these things. And because sometimes it might create a mass murderer, they're fine with that. It's the cost of doing business. They write it off on their taxes. They just pay the fines or pay the parents, and that's that. But what the Israelite School of UPK would have you do is to never participate in behavior like this. You can never murder. You can't murder a person walking down the street going to a 4th of July party, and you can't murder a baby in your womb. You can't murder. We would have you not dress up like a woman if you're a man. You can't do that. You can't do that to get away and escape after you've committed a crime. You can't do that because you feel in your heart you're a girl. You just can't do it. You have to fight it. And you can't hate people enough to harm them. That's not something that we can do in the UPK. We believe in love in the UPK, brother. We believe in love, not hate. The Americans, they believe in hate. The Trump supporters, they believe in hate. The abortion supporters, they believe in hate. We believe in love in the UPK. The only problem is we love the people that everyone wants to hate. We love people that the world hates. And because of that, our love is counted as a crime because of the people that we love. We love blacks and Hispanics. We love the people that you think are valueless in America and all across the world. And we choose to give our love to them. And for that, we are hated. With that, pass the class over to who we got in here. Killeen, Texas. Give Killeen a hand. Shout out to Killeen. Shout out to North Carolina. Shout out to Baltimore. Shout out to Chicago, Chi-Town. We coming up. When is the barbecue? It has to be coming up soon.
July 21st to July 24th.
Go ahead. Is that right, Shock? Let Chicago say it. Go ahead, Chicago.
Khan General. For all of those, we have the 5th annual Midwest Fire Weekend coming up, July 21st through the 24th. We're gonna kick it off with a spectacular scripture breakdown class from General MAHAYAMAN. Then on Friday, we're gonna be on the Magnificent Mile with Commander General Yohana speaking. Saturday, we're gonna be at the Bantu Festival. And then on Sunday, the 24th, is going to be the Black and Brown Unity Cookout. We're also gonna have performances from the very talented brothers that are in the ISUPK. We're going to have live performances from your favorite artists inside of the UPK. This Fire Weekend is going to be something to behold. If you don't make it to Chicago on the 21st through the 24th, you will regret it.
What about the he got me, Ashar. He sold me.
Oh, Salakia. And if I may, Salakia, throughout it, sir, we're going to have one of the most amazing lectures that you've ever seen. It's going to be called Before Columbus Came. That's also going to be on Saturday, Friday, Salakia, sir, Friday, July 22nd. And it's going to be held by Captain Ashaparium and also by Officer Kazak Ahmad. It's going to be in Spanish. We're going to also have the English translations here, but this is going to be strict. It's going to be for our Northern Tribe brothers and sisters, so you can learn your history of who you are and who you were before you were colonized by Columbus and his kind.
Outstanding. You got me. I'm coming.
Hey, come,
I'm
come,
getting it
sir.
on. He sold me. Sounds good. With that, once again, Chicago. Who do we have? Killeen, North Carolina, Baltimore, South Carolina. Give South Carolina a hand. And Memphis, Tennessee. With that, from Harlem, New York, headquarters, Shalom. You got it, Asher.
Clap it up for the class. Men of Israel, Mahdi, which means to stand. Men of Israel, we're going to get one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Mahdim Shabbat. Ahmadim, Barak, Yahweh Bahashim. Star face sisters, Ahmadim, which means to stand. Men of Israel, we're going to get one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Ahmadim Shabbat. Ahmadim, Barak, Yahweh Bahashim. Judge Matah, which means hands down, class is missed.
Hold on 1 second. Okay. So I'll see y'all all next week. I don't want him.
Come, sir.